Hey everybody, welcome to bonus content.
Hey,
Hey.
kids.
Uh, why is that so creepy, Tony?
Oh no.
We're gonna rank some cereals now. Everybody's
Oh,
here.
my.
Y'all know what's up. It's me. It's Alex.
Y'all know what it
Tony's here.
is.
Nabeshin's here. Scott's here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna share my screen now with y'all and close this time and actually full screen it so people at home can hopefully see.
Just so you guys are aware, right?
Yeah.
Wind Waker's the best Zelda of all time.
Okay. I mean, Tony, we get it. Wait, do you want to do your personal
Nope.
Zelda ranking right
Nope,
now?
I already did it. That was it.
Okay, it was just the
Right,
one
welcome
game.
to my everything else in fucking trash tier.
Welcome to my TED Talk. You missed the part
Well,
where...
actually, no, everything else in F tier, and then whichever one Alex currently likes the best.
Okay, thanks. I won't tell you because I just hate being bullied by you.
Yeah, no, I mean that's like a fluid thing. It updates as you.
Yeah,
update.
exactly. I change and evolve, and so does the trash tier.
So does the tier list.
Okay. So right now we've got S tier, godlike, A tier, must have, B tier, very good, C tier, average tier, D tier, bland, F tier, wouldn't buy.
Wait, so
And
stuff you
trash.
wouldn't buy is like everything
There's
above
something
F tier
below
stuff
what
that
you wouldn't buy. Yes.
But what I'm saying is like
You would
a
buy
lot of
bland
cereals
cereal?
I wouldn't buy. There are many cereals that I would not buy.
Yeah, most cereals I wouldn't buy.
Pretty much anything below A tier is
Like, I'm
would
a
not
fucking
buy.
adult. I'm not gonna buy Frosted Flakes right now. I'm
Hey,
sorry.
man, listen, that's got a mascot that's very relatable for me.
Yeah, Tony the Tiger. Anthony.
Yeah.
Anthony
He
L.
is,
Tigre.
he's dead. He's like super dead.
The guy? Tony's dead?
Yeah, he's been dead since I've been
He's
like
been dead
12.
for 27 years.
Yeah, yeah. It's been like over
A
10
long
years since
time.
he's been
Yeah.
dead.
It's the best.
Probably longer than
it's
that.
simultaneously like awful and the best because every time someone like starts doing like the stupid thing, or they like, you're like, oh, your name's Tony. You heard about that Frosted Flakes theme song, bro? Like, assuming that for some reason I hadn't heard about it like a billion times in my life, then I can just be like, that guy's dead, right? And they're like, oh,
Oh, shit.
and then the conversation ends.
Yeah, that's how it ends. That's how the cookie crumbles.
He's the guy who sung the Grinch song.
Oh, shit. Really?
Yeah.
What a weird small world we live in.
Yeah, for real.
Okay. Now I want a couple of gauging questions here. Where is Pops on this list? I gotta know.
Oof.
What are you talking
right,
about?
Right to the fucking one godlike cereal that there exists.
Really, Tony? You're
That's-
a Pops boy.
Yeah, dude.
I was
gotta have
convinced
my
you were
pops,
Golden
bro.
Crisps.
Gotta have my pops.
Now, Nabeshin, I heard an ugh of disgust.
Like I like Pops, but like
I like Pops too.
man, you have to eat that shit like immediately.
It's
like,
of course. But, like,
ineffective cereal.
who's
No.
making a bowl of cereal and
It's
then
also
waiting 5
sticky
minutes?
always, and I don't know why it's sticky. Why are Pops sticky?
Well, it's not. It's not like that, Tony. It's if you open the pops, right, and they've
Which
been
I
open for
often
about
I have my Pops.
3 days.
Yeah,
They're
okay, hold on.
then stale.
Yeah, they're ruined.
I would like to contend that I don't know any other cereal that they package in fucking silver.
Yeah, it's true.
That's some quality shit.
It is. This is clearly the silver ticket item.
Yeah, you open that shit and you're like, oh, am I royalty now?
You open that shit and think that. I don't. All right, I'm
They did it with a couple of them.
all right. I just
I
want to
think
know.
Golden Grams is one of them,
I feel like
or Golden
Pops
Crisps.
is
Probably
divisive,
both.
and that's why I put it right
Um,
there. Does everyone have a favorite cereal? Can we form our S list with our favorite cereals?
I guess
Well,
not.
you see,
Mine is controversial.
Oh my god!
All right,
yes.
lay it on me, dude.
Please.
I'm a Crunch Berries boy.
I got no
Crunch
qualms
berries,
with
not
crunch
controversial.
berries.
I like Crunch.
where's
I like
where's?
OG
I
Captain
crunch into a
Crunch.
berry on occasion.
Oh yeah, no, that's up in there in the S tier for me too.
There you go. You're not alone.
So here, I'm just gonna lay it down on Captain Crunch right now.
Okay.
Regular Captain Crunch is D tier.
Damn, dude.
Reason being, that shit fucks up your
Yeah,
mouth.
everyone brings this up. The roof of your mouth is bleeding.
Yeah, that shit fucks up your mouth, right?
Dramatic.
Well,
No, but
So
sure.
that drops it down by a good 2 tiers of where it should be. And I don't think the flavor's as good as the other flavored crunch stuff.
Sure.
I think peanut butter's better, but it kind of does the same thing. And Crunch Berries does it to a much lesser extent.
What
Is peanut butter actually good with cereal? I'm not. I don't like peanut butter in general. I'm just
Like,
asking.
If you
peanut
don't like
butter
peanut butter,
flavored
you don't like
cereal?
it.
Okay.
I
Yeah,
wouldn't
but
like,
if you like peanut butter, then it's great.
Yeah, I like
I'm
peanut
not gonna
butter
take
and
a
milk,
jar
so.
of peanut butter and just fucking whip a dollop out onto the top of my fucking cereal milk. But I mean, I wouldn't necessarily make fun of the person who does. know?
For me, my probably
That's their shit.
I don't eat them anymore, but Fruit Loops was my god tier. God, I love fucking Fruit Loops. You open a bag of that and take a whiff, man, and you're going on a fucking journey.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Probably
You know that
fucking-
fresh Fruit Loop smell.
yeah, there's probably like fucking fruit flavored cocaine in there.
There must be because it's
Yeah.
amazing.
Look at that toucan, dude.
He's having a great time. His eyes get all swirly when he has those Fruit Loops too. It's either the Sugar Rush or Coke.
How many licks do you think he takes to get this in a row?
Not many. Or only licks. I don't know. He doesn't have teeth.
Then what are you with Fruity Pebbles, Alex? I'm just curious.
I used to like Fruity Pebbles, but that's another instance of like, boy, you've got a hot 35 seconds to scarf down this bowl, or else it's ruined forever.
I don't think I've ever really had it, and when I had it, I think I was disappointed for some reason. I don't know why.
It's
a
a pretty disappointing situation in your defense. It's like there's a
Yeah,
lot to be
well-
disappointed with Fruity Pebbles. If you're one of those freakos that drinks the milk afterwards, though, that is a good time because there's a lot of sugar in it afterwards.
I just feel like you're doing this whole cereal thing wrong.
I don't eat cereal really anymore, so I mean you're probably not wrong.
I mean, that's by default. You're already doing it wrong.
I
'cause you
know.
I'm just saying because Fruity Pebbles lasts at least 4 to 5 times as long as Pops.
Really? I feel like Pops
See,
have more absorption.
I wouldn't
power.
know that because
Pops.
I eat the pops too fast.
Yeah, Tony, you pour the bowl and Tony's already eating it.
Like, I'll pop open my silver.
The other
bag
thing
and
is-
pour the milk in.
Most of this shit is dessert cereal.
Yeah.
It's either
Okay.
dessert cereal
Okay.
or trash tier healthy cereal.
Would you like a more middle of the road cereal to put in A/S tier?
Sure.
But if in S tier on like more of like an 8.5 tier
Yes.
because pop stands alone. But I'm trying to look at your little picture and see if it's even on. Which is
You
tough.
need to put Tricks very, very low because it used to be
Trix is
good.
fucking
Used to be good.
garbage.
It used to be. Now it's just cardboard now.
It's cardboard. Yeah. They
Yeah,
were.
yeah. Trix is right now. Trix is F tier.
I remember when Tricks were good, and that's the shittiest thing about Tricks now is
Mhm.
that you're like, man, these used to be baller. It's so like flavorful, and like they had a good crunch to them that wasn't too
Yo,
cardboardy.
is this cereal not on this list?
What you looking for?
Fuck, dude, life, dude.
There is no life on this list.
Life also belongs in like the D tier.
No, dude, that's like second best cereal.
I thought
Hell no.
Nabeshin came into this thinking he had a controversial cereal opinion.
What's wrong with life cereal, dude?
Because it is a solid B tier in flavor, but it has another problem like Captain Crunch. It has the banana problem, except for you have it way too quickly.
I'm gonna be honest. I feel like most of these cereals are trash.
Listen, dude, Quaker Life multigrain cereal original flavor
Absolute garbage.
is the goat.
Who the fuck talks about Kix ever? Get out of here, Kix, with your trash.
With the corn on it. Like,
It's
what
got
the
corn on it. Like, no.
fuck? Like a whole ear, dude.
Sour Patch Kids cereal seems like trash. I've never had it. That's one of those newfangled cereals. I can't get it.
What was the one?
Oh no, it's bad. It's really bad. It's sour, and you add sour to the milk, so it tastes like the milk is curdling,
No,
but the
this
milk
is
doesn't
awful.
curdle.
Kids these days will do anything.
So
with sugar.
it's terrible. It's terrible.
Sounds awful. That's exactly what I'm
This isn't me buying it, but at some point I heard it was out, so I was like,
I gotta try it.
there's somebody who's tried it before. I want
Somebody
to.
else's house to try it.
Somebody's tried it
I wanna
before.
buy
Now, I'm not
some.
even go to somebody else's tried it. I just looked it up on YouTube. I was like, who the fuck?
Who the fuck did this? Oreo O's just makes me furious because why wouldn't you call it Oreos? I don't know.
It's also a solid D tier.
Okay. I've never had
I've never
Oreo
had it.
O's.
So
I have, and they're okay, but at the same time, like most of the O's cereal, they're not that great.
Mm-hmm.
And then two, it suffers from a much lesser problem than a Captain Crunch cereal.
So, Scott, what about you? Do you have like a favorite cereal on this list that we haven't talked about?
That we haven't talked about.
Or are you still in the Crunch Berry?
We hit Fruity Pebbles, we hit Crunch Berries, and we didn't touch Reese's Puffs. But again,
Reese's Puffs are like fucking C tier though.
nah.
Dead silent.
Actually,
Just
that-
dead
that-
silent. I thought Scott was about to fucking blow up. I like was very unsure.
I like Reese's. I like Reese's are good. You know, the good peanut butter cups. I like that. I like that cereal.
Here's
The problem I have with it is that you get
the
that
whole
mouth
rule.
coat, you know?
There is no cereal with chocolate in it that belongs above it.
I mean, yeah, but chocolate and cereal just.
Yeah, Cocoa Puffs are trash.
Yeah, I'm not for it.
I used to eat Cocoa Puffs all the time, and every single time I would have, because you're a dumb kid, and you just.
If you guys are
And
talking
every time
about,
I had it, I would be like, "This is garbage. This is bad."
you guys want to talk about cereals you have to eat within 5 seconds. Let's talk about fucking Cocoa Crisp.
Yeah,
You
I'm
have
putting
a
all of the
literally
chocolate cereals in the
0.5
trash,
seconds
too.
before that shit is a soggy.
Yeah, Cocoa Krispies also super bad. And I would put Rice Krispies in the same camp.
Yeah, I agree.
Sure.
Anybody want to
I
come?
mean, but
come
when
to
you
the
turn them
defense
into
of Raisin
treats,
Bran?
though, that shit's pretty lit.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, put a little marshmallow.
I don't
in
like
there.
raisins, so
You like raisins?
no.
Me either. Fuck that garbage. That's what I'm talking
Sure.
about, Nabeshin.
Only other real standout on the list for me
Mhm.
is hold on, I'm looking at minuscule pictures.
I know. Are we going to talk about CT Crunch at all?
The regular one?
Yeah.
I already said it was D tier.
Fuck you, dude. CT Crunch is god tier. I'll put it in C tier to compromise, but I hate you.
Yeah, just make sure you throw that peanut butter crunch right on top of it at B tier.
Peanut butter crunch? Where's that? There's French toast crunch here.
Yeah, cinnamon toast crunch, pretty
You
lit. as
got
well.
Captain Crunch and peanut butter crunch mixed up.
Oh. Got it. I'm going to just keep Captain Crunch at F tier because I don't remember where we decided it was going to go. Fucks up
Where
your
you
mouth.
put where you put the peanut butter crunch at.
Um,
It's right by
How-
the Oreos.
How do you guys feel about Golden Graham? Because that's my third favorite.
I'm not.
I
against it.
think they're trash. Yeah.
Golden
It's been a
Grapes?
while since I had them. Like that and Smacks. Like I always get Golden Grams and Smacks confused. I don't know
Golden
why.
Grahams makes
Oh,
me lit cereal.
True. Smacks is trash.
I don't think I've ever had
Golden Grams is F tier.
Smacks is like the fucking retail knockoff. At least I think so. I always thought it was. when I saw it.
I think you're
So-
right.
You see, I'm mixing this up with Golden Crisp again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Golden Grams is lit cereal, bro. You should try that shit.
I don't.
No,
think
I've had it before. Do not like it.
I don't think I've ever had.
Don't like Golden Crisp either.
It. All right, Golden Crisp.
See, this is how I know
Yeah.
that Scott and I are perfectly compatible
Yeah.
because we like the cereals that each other hate, you know?
Mhm.
So if we were ever in a living situation where cereal was in a common area, which would be unlikely because if I got Pops, they stay near me at all times. But I would know.
Gotta have them.
Yeah, gotta have 'em. I would know, you know, Scott ain't gonna touch my fucking cereal.
Okay,
And I ain't gonna eat his garbage.
There's a lot of garbage on here, and we don't have to go through all of it. But I want to hit the.
We
big
can.
hitters.
real
Yeah,
quick.
yes, we
Let's
do.
just Let's go through the list.
Okay, cornflakes.
Trash.
Absolute trash.
Now when you have when you have Frosted Flakes, you don't need cornflakes.
Yeah, exactly.
Period.
It's just cornflakes, but better. We haven't actually rated Frosted Flakes.
That's like A or B.
I would put it on.
Uh,
I would say B.
C.
I would say it's C tier.
I would say
C tier.
C or B.
C tier.
All right, fine.
You gotta understand, a good chunk of these sugar cereals,
What
they're
about-
strictly dessert cereals.
What about
and that
Okay,
hurts
those
them.
are not. That's not a cereal. That's a donut.
Yeah, that's trash.
Oreos are donuts.
Yeah, they look like little mini donuts. Fruity
made
Pebbles, I
by
think
them.
we discussed are bad.
They're called donuts.
French Toast Crunch. I've never had French Toast Crunch.
It's not as good as Golden Graham
As a connoisseur of French toast,
or Cinnamon Toast
anything.
Crunch.
Mhm.
French toast crunch, no. Nothing.
Damn. I'm gonna put it on
Yeah.
F tier then.
Cinnamon Toast Crunch is just significantly better.
Yeah,
By the way, Cinnamon
Mhm.
Toast Crunch should be A tier.
I agree. Apple Jacks?
Garbage, trash, F tier.
I feel like
buy.
Apple Jacks were the ones that fucked up my mouth the most, honestly.
Also, Griffin's favorite cereal. So in our house, it was Apple Jacks and Pops.
And then he would pour them both in the same bowl and the world would explode.
I will say though, I would say F tier because they had pretty good fucking marketing back in the day.
Banana Nut Crunch? I don't even think I've heard of this.
Mm-mm.
It's some health shit. Put it in the fucking trash.
Sounds like trash to me. Now, Cookie Crisp is another one of those situations
Cookie Crisp.
where they used to be good and they're bad now.
Yeah,
Um,
good concept.
Yeah, great concept. Cookies as cereal? Hell yeah. Mini Wheat Thins.
Wheat Thins are pretty alright.
I
Mini
feel like
Wheats.
this is one that you liked, Scott. I don't remember exactly.
Mini wheats?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's B or C tier.
I feel like the only time I ever had Mini Wheats was at Scott's house. I don't think I ever had them at
They're fine.
Okay, they're fine. They're fine.
They're,
Waffle
they're,
Crisp?
they're fine, and when you go to one of the bulk stores, they always have them.
Yeah,
So.
it's my dad's favorite cereal, so it was always in our house when I was growing.
I think it was my mom's favorite cereal, but again, we didn't have a lot of
Cereal at
They're
someone
great
else's
in milk.
house.
cereal at
terrible
someone
draft.
else's house is a special thing, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, everyone's always does it differently. You know,
Yeah.
like some people will like take the cereal box and pour them into a plastic holding container.
I only say that because I think I had cereal more at Scott's house than I did at my own. Waffle Crisp. I don't know what this is. Never heard of this.
Is that basically honeycomb?
We can zoom in, and there's a very creepy waffle man on the cover.
he's got a happy face.
He's got a way too happy face. Like
I think it's supposed to be something like that, but I believe I've had these before and I just didn't like them. So just throw them in the trash.
throw it in the trash.
Okay.
I don't even.
We don't know what it is. We're never ever going to buy it. Trash.
Is this Lucio O's?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh my god!
Where is this one?
This one. It's Lucio O's. God, why? Why does everyone do the O's? I'm just gonna throw that. I don't have to take your guys' permission to put that in the garbage. I also didn't know that there was a honey bun cereal. Anyone have this?
No.
All right,
What
out of
the
respect for
fuck?
honey buns, I'll put that in there too. Checks. All right, sounds like a hot garbage from the peanut gallery.
You got cut up for a second.
Oh, checks. Checks.
Yeah, no, that's okay.
Honey Graham O's. Is that what that says?
Do you not like chicks, Tony?
What's that?
Honey Graham Oats are going to be infinitely worse than Honey Grahams.
Yeah.
I was saying
Or
checks.
golden
You didn't
bread.
like it?
I honestly don't know if I've ever had them.
I don't think I've ever had checks either. I've heard a lot about
Checks are good. Checks
I've
are
had-
good
I've had
unless you get the
checks,
corn
I've
check.
never eaten it.
Then
as
they're not good.
cereal.
Oatmeal squares.
Trash.
It's just, yeah.
It sounds like
They
bad.
okay, so here's what it sounds like it should be. It should be frosted mini wheats without the frosted coating, but it's not. Promise.
I promise. I wouldn't lie to you.
They've been in my house before and they're garbage.
Now I'll let y'all know. I fucking love Special K.
What's the difference between that and cornflakes?
In my experience, Special K tastes a lot sweeter.
Branding.
No cornflake. No.
Now,
No.
I also I like to get the Special K with the dried fruit in it.
No, the best way I can explain a decent chunk of the difference is, you know how the Rice Krispies has like that the air pop,
Mm.
not the sound, but when you look at a grain of it feels like it's been aerated.
Right.
The other one is a flat.
Shit.
The corn flakes are just a flat flake.
Aerated.
Special K is something
In between.
that has like in
It's got
between.
wrinkles.
Okay.
I
So
would,
Ruffles chip.
yeah, it's like chips. I would put it at D just because like it is
F tier.
It is pretty bland. Well, it's a democracy. Here.
It is extremely bland.
Cheerios, original Cheerios.
All Cheerios, and most O's things belongs in trash tier.
No, Honey Nut
man.
Cheerios are good.
Don't fuck with my honey nut.
Yeah, Honey Nut Cheerios is decent.
Nah, trash tier.
You've been outvoted, Scott. But is it? I would put Honey Nut Cheerios at average. I wouldn't necessarily push it.
It's
down.
basically, yes.
It is like the
It's
exact
It's like a
playground
baseline
of-
series.
I can accept F tier.
You can
But
accept
that's the
C.
problem. I would
This
buy
is me
it.
compromising.
This is me compromising. Now, we have to talk about it. Lucky Charms are and always have been bad. They've never been
Yeah.
good. Lucky Charms taste like trash. The marshmallows taste like trash. The oats taste
One
like
time
trash.
I bought my sister like a 5-pound bag of just marshmallows as a gag gift for. It's pretty cool. Still there. Has never been.
It would always piss me off when I would see Lucky Charms commercials because I would like stand up and be like, "But they're not good." Like, why do you care? Honey Bunches of Oats.
Somewhere between D and C.
Oh, this is where Scott fucking gets in on the blame fucking train. Has anyone ever else had Honey Bunch of Oats?
Nope.
I feel like I've had them once. In a similar
They're okay.
vein to Honey Nut Cheerios, the honey does.
Especially because it's the cinnamon bunches one.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're okay. A good chunk of these cereals suffer from the banana problem.
Yeah, you can't have too much of it.
You can't have too much of it in one sitting, and once you have it on one day, you kind of don't want it the
I
next.
can eat CT Crunch all day though. Honey Smacks.
You kind of physically can't do
I
that.
can, and I have Honey Smacks. I don't know if I've
Like
had.
I said, I keep getting that in
F tier.
Golden Cryptid cheese, so I don't know. I can't remember.
Yeah.
F tier. They're both garbage.
Yeah. Honeycomb? Is it just called honeycomb or honeycombs?
Yeah, they're like a weird old cereal that I like had one.
They're fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fine.
I remember
They're roughly
them being
D or
bland.
C.
Yeah.
I agree.
That's it. This is our ranking. Weirdly, Pops, Crunch Berries, and Fruit Loops at the top, with CT Crunch just below. Reese's Puffs in the B tier. Now, Scott, I will say, because we knocked down all of your things, if you want to push Reese's Puff to S tier, I'll allow it. But is it worth it?
Yeah, go for it.
All right. There we go. Now we have full representation. I like that Mini Wheats made it to B tier. I don't remember why. I think somebody likes Mini Wheats. Then peanut
They're
butter
fine.
crunch, Golden
You see,
Crisp.
here's the thing about everything that's D tier and below.
Mhm.
That wouldn't buy category kind of applies to D tier and below.
Yeah.
C tier, and B tier are things you kind of deal with.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, if it's available.
S tier and A tier are things that you might actually buy.
at the
Because let's be
continent.
honest, we don't really cereal.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And like honestly, if you're going to buy cereal, there's like maybe 2 cereals you would buy any average human being. I'll take a little screen grab of this.
I definitely don't need like 7 fucking cereals up in my shit.
I know,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Every time
like,
like my mom took my brothers and I to the grocery store. It's like, okay, you each get a cereal. It's like, why do we need 3 cereals? Like, are there
I'm
3
gonna get a
good
different one
cereals?
every day of the week.
All right, let's look
It's
at this
Pops Tuesday. About to
community
be Reese's
ranking.
Pieces Wednesday. Actually, that's a candy.
Wow.
You just put some milk on that shit. That's better than Reese's Puffs.
I made my own list, so let's see how it stacks up against mine.
with cigars and hookers and cool stuff. So in the community ranking, Apple Jacks is S tier, which is just
They're wrong.
absurd. So are Frosted Flakes, which is also stupid and wrong.
No, you see, ignore everything you see in S tier and just notice that Cocoa Pebbles is an A tier.
Yeah, you're right. Cocoa Puffs.
So is Fruity
This
Pebbles.
is how you know it's bullshit.
Yeah.
Captain Crunch is A tier.
I am amazed that Captain Crunch made it to A tier because
Captain Crunch is A tier and Crunch Berry is C tier.
yeah, which is silly. Like I love Captain Crunch, but I know it fucks up your mouth. Like Cocoa Pebbles anywhere, Fruity Pebbles anywhere above D is disrespect. It's absolute garbage.
That's what me with Trix. Trix is like ridiculously
Yeah,
up.
like
high now.
these people are like, oh yeah, old Tricks. It's like, no, that's not what the kids are buying today. Okay, old Tricks is some S tier shit, but you ain't getting that today.
No, you're not.
Man, remember the good old days? No Crunchberry on this. No like cereal monsters on this at all, which is weird.
Yeah, that's weird.
But to
Frankie.
be fair, if we're just respecting the general year-round cereals, this is fine. I'll allow it. Wow.
Yeah, like there's a much better set of cereals that are just not here.
I mean, this list is terrible. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Hey, have you
Internet.
guys seen or tried Crave?
Crave?
I've heard
Yeah,
of
it's cereal brand.
No, I'm gonna look it up right now.
Most of their flavors are good.
It sounds right. Oh, sorry, chat. Let's see. Walk in and see Cocoa Pebbles at the bottom, and I'm leaving. Says Mike Burgess.
Get out.
That's fine. We didn't want your wrongness tainting here anyway.
Sorry, Mike. Scott
Oh,
said Chex Mix, which I don't think was on there.
Chex Mix is decent.
these do look good, Scott.
Yeah.
And Scott also said I can get behind the Toast Crunch at S tier. CT Crunch, classic. And Nicole Humphrey says, "Konnichiwa, bitches." Hi, Nicole.
What's up?
Konnichiwa.
Konnichiwa. You guys want to talk about some video games?
Yo. Dude, I've consumed a lot of video games this week.
I feel like I've consumed a good amount, not a lot, but a good amount. All right, yeah. If you want to run the bathroom or do anything, let me know now.
How soggy does Crave get, Scott? I'm just curious.
Not very, but like all cereal, if you take more than 10 minutes to eat it, you're done fucked up.
Oh, I have had Crave, Scott. Crave is good. Crave's good shit.
Yeah.
I totally forgot about this.
Kashi's a better, healthier one. They fucking added Raisin Bran, which technically isn't a healthy cereal. It's one of the worst that you can eat. Just throwing that out there. 'Cause, yeah, I'm telling you, like, this is just a fucking that is what I eat for dessert. That list that list is what I eat for dessert. I do not eat that in the morning.
This is my
I
dessert.
also
This is
rarely
my
eat
nightly
cereal in the
dessert.
morning. Cereal is not really a breakfast for me.
Oh God, Nicole says,
Yeah.
"Lord help me, I'm on the road to platinum Death Stranding. You need more than help where you're going, my friend."
What is it? What even are the trophies like?
I've eaten more.
Complete a delivery. You did it.
Finished the deliveries.
Home game experience.
I don't know, are there difficulty trophies for that game, or is there?
No.
How do you make it harder?
I don't know. More hazards.
Complete the delivery
You die
in less
faster?
time.
There are time challenges. Yeah, I don't know. I've eaten more Cinnamon Toast Crunch just by the handful than I have any cereal in any situation in a bowl. I'll be honest. That's the life that I live. All right. Let's
Shout out your favorite cereal.
I mean,
Comments below.
that does explain why your mouth doesn't get fucked up when you eat it all day.
Yeah.
It gets worse when you put it in milk.
gets heavier, man. Shout out my shout out would be Fruity Pebbles because they are the charm of my childhood. All right, let's go ahead and get started. Let's get this baby rolling. It is Saturday, January 18th, 2020, and you are listening to the Irrational Passions podcast. I'm Alex O'Neill. I'm your host, And we've got some great co-hosts with me, including Scott Guth here.
Hello.
Scott wasn't ready for this energy that I'm bringing today. Tony Horvath is here.
Hey.
And Brian Nabeshin Jackson is here.
Cookie Chris.
You're listening to the Irrational Passions podcast. That's right. It's a video games podcast where we talk about video games that we're playing every week, Saturdays at 7 p.m. on YouTube. Live, you can watch us talk about it, or you can listen to us recorded form Tuesday mornings in your podcast service of choice, because it's everywhere. We're all around. And it's going to be a good one. We just talked about cereal for like 30 minutes in our pre-show, so people have that to find on the internet if you would like to. But regardless, there are video games to talk about. There are video game delays to talk about. This is a video game podcast. Real quick, at the top here, I just want to shout out a little thing called irrationalpatches.com because Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of the week that this podcast is coming out during, so Tuesday, the whatever 3 days from now, Tuesday the 21st, that sounds right. That Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday on this very podcast feed, this audio feed, RSS feed, you'll be able to listen to the irrationalpassions.com Game of the Year podcast. It's 3 parts. It's about 9.5 hours total. And it's very good. We had a lot of good conversations. You can go read our top 10 lists on irrationalpassions.com. You can go listen to our podcast and hear what we decided would be our Game of the Year. And we worked really hard on it, so I would appreciate it if you listen to it. What do you guys think our Game of the Year was? Just curious.
It's hard with this year.
It is tough. We were all kind of leaning in a specific way. Spoilers.
Super Mario Maker 2.
Not even on the list. Ooh.
Not even close.
That's a good guess, though. I wish. It
No,
was
it's,
Mario Maker.
no, it's not.
Could be if you're one of those people that's like way into Super Mario Maker. None of the editorial staff were. So, what do you think, Nabeshin?
If I were to give like a wild guess, it would probably be Resident Evil 2.
Good guess. I like that. Tony, do you have a guess?
Death Stranding.
That is also a good guess. But none of you were right. So go listen to those podcasts because you should find out what we liked, what we didn't like. We did it a little bit differently this year. We did some new categories and all that. So IP Presents, you can listen to that on this podcast feed, Irrational Passions podcast feed. You can listen to that wherever you want. Just want to shout it out. Go check it out. But let's get the show started. 4 of us are here. We're gathered to talk about video games. I never talked about my games last week. I realized while I was editing the podcast.
Whoops.
It happens. Let's say I didn't have a lot to talk about. I was in a weird spot. I'm in a less weird spot now. But I played some video games. First thing I want to talk about, I am officially playing an MMO. That isn't Destiny, because I guess that doesn't count depending on who you ask. But I started playing Final Fantasy XIV with Justin Graffius, friend of the show, who I've been playing Dark Souls with. Basically, we played through Bloodborne together, and Justin said to me, I want you to play Final Fantasy XIV, but I also want to play Dark Souls, because you got me into it, so let's play Dark Souls. And if we beat all the Dark Souls games, we'll play Final Fantasy XIV. We got to some troubled waters in Dark Souls 3. A lot of PvP happens in that game a lot, and while PvP is fun and great, it's not when you're just trying to get stuff over with, and we had to take a break. So new year, we started playing Final Fantasy XIV. I made a character.
Quick question about the run, because if you're running into PvP troubles, you should also be able to get the some of the OP swords.
Yeah.
DR1 spam swords.
Yeah.
Are you running that type of build? What are you doing?
We're not. We're kind of just free forming it, as opposed to going off of like a build because we're just not necessarily having trouble. I thought about making a second PvP character, because
what I'm asking is like,
some.
what is the current weapon you have equipped? What are the 2 weapons you're
he's using
switching
a spear
between?
and I'm using a katana. Nothing OP. We're just playing.
Did you kick the guy off the cliff and use that katana?
I did.
The early one? Yeah. So that's kind of an OP katana.
Yeah. I like. It ranges. We have good experiences and bad experiences, and like we have.
I very much so like the fair and greatsword.
See, I thought
That's
about
a bit
running.
tough to use.
I ran
But,
Greatsword in Dark Souls 1 and 2, and I was like, I want to switch it up, and I shouldn't have. I should have just stuck to my strength build and been OP for PvP. It would have been way easier. But again, that's why I'm thinking about making another.
Magic in this one's pretty strong for PvP with the right build.
Yeah.
Um,
And we're both specking Magic, so that's been helping. But we just honestly 1, 2, 3, back to back to back, and from Bloodborne before that. More than anything, I think we just needed a break. Change it up. So we started playing 14. I started a new character. Justin is just kind of sherpaing me through with his character. So, I mean, the thing is, I don't necessarily know a lot about Final Fantasy 14. So this is just my honest-to-God first impression. Like, I know very little going into this. Here's what I think. So I picked, I guess the starting area depends on what class you choose. So I chose a Lancer because Justin said, hey, you can go with like range DPS, close range DPS, the general classes. And he said if you're looking for a more actiony experience, the kind of close range DPS characters are going to be more enjoyable for you. And so far, that has proved to be true. I've been having a lot of fun with the combat and stuff. It's very, it's been a while since I played a game like this where it's like you have cooldown, kind of universal cooldowns, and like, some power-specific cooldowns, like, an MMO, basically. I don't necessarily play a lot of them, so generally I've been fine with how the combat's rolling out. But I appreciate that there are some things that they introduce very early on where it's like, do these moves in this order and you'll get like a bonus damage or status effect at the end when you do the last move. And it's like, okay, that's cool. I have to pay some level of attention, and if I'm fighting a tough enemy, there are different things I can do. I have a little bit more agency than I have in games like this before, or at least way back when I played WoW and didn't get very far. But yeah, like my just general first impression is it seems fun. It seems jolly. We started in a forest called Gridania, which is a very JRPG town location. And it's a very elven, wood elfy, and regular elfy forest that's full of, like, I feel like I'm in the classic MMO territory. I'm fighting, like, squirrels and boars and wolves and like, just general things that you would fight. You'd have to kill 13 of and turn in some pelts to get experience points for. So, that's, honestly, as someone who does not play a lot of these kinds of games, that's been fine. So I'm now, I think, level 21. I'm still in the starter area because we did a lot of side quests. And now, like, we've sat down and played twice. So the first time, we very, very much like introduction, played for like 5 hours, just walking around, grinding, getting used to the UI and the kind of like how to build the classes and all that. And the second time was when I would say the kind of opening slog kind of hit me a little bit of like, all right, I'm doing a lot of like, go here and do this, like point A to point B, nothing really interesting going on. But I appreciate, like, 14 does have a lot of things where it'll break into cutscenes and stuff, where, you're seeing stuff. Sometimes you'll have, like, fully voice-acted cutscenes, too, which is cool. I didn't necessarily expect that. And it cares a little bit more about the story than obviously other MMOs I've played in the past, but I don't have a lot of experience. But as far as, like, just play as a almost traditional JRPG, it's been fun. I was way more drawn into it and just had way more fun with how simple it is and how just easy trading stuff in is, how you're kind of getting that instant satisfaction pretty quickly and having a good time. It helps that Justin's just there hanging out, making sure I don't get lost. But as far as like just powering through the opening section, I've been having fun, and I'm almost out of the tutorial, apparently. I guess like the level 15 story mission is the last quote-unquote tutorial or opening mission, and I'm on like the last level 14 story mission. So I'm like 1 or 2 or 3 story missions away from like being able to leave the opening area and kind of go off on my grand adventure. Which is cool because then I'll be able to go to the other starter areas and essentially adopt other classes. And I don't really know how the class system works. I know each class has their own level, right? So when I switch to Rogue with the intent of eventually becoming a ninja, which is like the class that I'm hoping to get into, I know I start back at level 1, and then at level 15 the Rogue will I guess like not necessarily 15, but at some level it'll like go to the next class and then go to ninja or something.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, it's you'd only really have to have one character because one character can have
Every class.
all the classes.
Yeah.
And all the classes leveled up all the way. I don't know if anything later in the expansions changes that any. I don't know if there's any choices that you have to make later down the long in the job system.
Mm-hmm. And I'm not
But
sure. So
I do know that was the case.
yeah, I know. Like I started with the Lancer, and I know at some point the Lancer becomes the Dragoon, and that sounds cool as well. So I'm definitely check that out. But I don't necessarily know what that transition looks like, and what like how that changes moment to moment gameplay or anything. But I feel like it's weird because I played a lot of Final Fantasy 14, but it was just a lot of go here, do this. Go here, kill this animal, get these 5 pelts, and come back. And some of the more interesting stuff is just like there are world events called Fates that are pretty cool. That'll just like ambient events that'll pop up, and then you can go join in and level sync down to the level that they're supposed to be, and then you can actually kill the enemies. And there are instance events where like you'll go into a dungeon, or not necessarily a dungeon, but like an encounter where you'll fight alongside NPCs in a party in a very traditional Final Fantasy style, which I also thought was cool. And a lot of those are the kind of peaks to the story mission right now. So like each class, like I said, has its own kind of quest line that's how you go from like Lancer to Dragoon or whatever. And right now, like the Lancer questline is the most interesting story for me because the main story hasn't really taken off. But I also know and have been told 1,000 times that like while A Realm Reborn is great, or was at least great at the time, it is still like the weakest of all of the Final Fantasy 14 content. And once I'm through that into Heaven's Sword, I think Heaven's Ward, one of the two. I think that's the first major expansion. That's when like things will definitely take a turn upward, but also the end, kind of like once you get into the thrust and climax of A Realm Reborn as a whole, things will get more interesting. So far so good, but I'm playing it. It's very MMO-y, but I'm having a good time. I've got a friend nearby every time I play it. I'm probably only ever going to play it with Justin, much like our kind of Dark Souls things. It's pretty much just a continuation of that. So I appreciate everyone that reached out on Twitter and said like, hey, what server are you on? One, I don't even really know. I just picked what Justin told me to do. And two, I'm probably not going to play with you, so I'm sorry. But I appreciate you. Some other things I've been playing. I started, because I lost a bet, I started 999. But I'm talking like the first 20 minutes. I have no full opinion on it yet, and I'm sorry, Nabeshin. I will try and get back to you on this. It's now I'm just fighting my dislike of playing games on my 3DS at this point, but I will power through that. But I have it. I started at just kind of get a cursory surface level, like what does this look like? So I actually don't even know. I've seen like 2 screenshots of that game, and I don't know what it looks like. But I will report back next week with more information because I have Tuesday, Wednesday off this coming week. So I'm hoping to.
Here's a question for you, Alex.
Yeah.
If the home brewers figured out how to emulate the 3DS games on the Switch, would you do it?
Well, I need like the specifics, the older generation model Switch that you could hack into, right? I don't.
You should have one.
I guess I haven't launched Switch. I don't think I would. I wouldn't futz with my Switch at this point, unless The only instance I would do
unless a Pro came out.
yeah, exactly. If I got a
And then it's
new
like,
Switch that became my primary
It's like-
normal Switch. Yeah.
And then it's like, what, this could also be a 3DS,
Mm-hmm. I'd be tempted.
but
I would be
Switch.
tempted. I won't lie to you, Scott. I'd be tempted.
Just do it on your Wii U.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
not using it.
I have DS games downloaded to my Wii U for some godforsaken reason. So other things I've been playing, I don't necessarily want to spend a lot of time on them, but like I don't know what necessarily got me in the mood for it. I was listening to P.S. I Love You. Shout out. It's back. Shout out. And Blessing on there was talking about getting back in and finishing Horizon Zero Dawn. And that got me thinking about it as well. I was thinking about, like, man, Tony loves this game, and I don't know. Like, I talked to somebody recently also that also just was like, yeah, it's like just such a great story. And I kept thinking about it. I'm like, man, I don't know what happens in it. I still don't know how that game goes, like, plot-wise. And I know you love it, Tony, and I know that mystery was definitely a driving factor for me. So I went back this week because I remembered, I think it was sometime last year, maybe like February of last year. Maybe it's just always this time of the year. I like started a new save file and played through basically just the tutorial, and kind of like got out after like the big turning point in the first act of the game, and just stopped right there. So I just picked up from where that save left off, and I felt pretty good.
Smart man.
Yeah, after the trial, like the opening trial. I jumped back into there, and I was like a level 11 or whatever, and I've played quite a bit since. I think I'm level 22 now, so, and the highest level I'd ever gotten was 20 in my old save when I originally played it. So now I've kind of gotten past that. I remember when I originally played it, I never actually got to, like, the big city that's in that game, Meridian, I think it's called. And so that was like the first thing I did. I was like, all right, I'm playing Horizon again. Fuck, this game looks super good. I honestly, like, even because I've been playing a little bit of God of War this week as well. Even that, like, I don't know. World-wise, it might be like the best looking PlayStation game, I think. Like, PlayStation exclusive game. And I know, like, God of War does some really great stuff, especially with color and like art style and art direction. But even still, like, just there's something to the forest and the green and like the lushness of the world of Horizon that just it really pops in a way that few other things do. But yeah, I went to the big city, Meridian in Horizon, which was super cool. It was very different than what I thought it was. Again, had not seen it still 3+ years after this game had come out, almost 3 years since this game's come out. And it was like, man, this is like scratching a little bit of a Skyrim itch. It's scratching a little bit of a Witcher itch. It's hitting a lot of notes that I didn't necessarily remember Horizon hitting. And it's also, like, weirdly got a lot of Monster Hunter DNA in it, I think.
Shoot some fucking arrows at robots, dude.
Yeah. And
Hell yeah.
But just, like, the kind of, like, commitment that you have to do to certain things, certain actions in combat and stuff, like, hey, this kind of reminds me of Monster Hunter a little bit. So, yeah, I don't know. I've just been... I don't know if, like, my opinions change. I always liked Horizon. It was just a thing that I kind of walked away from eventually. But I want to stick with it this time. And I'm doing a lot of side quests. I haven't really progressed the main story at all, but doing some of the side quests, I've gotten really into them. And it's funny too because I heard somebody describe The Witcher 3 as, like, imagine you're just like a detective in a fantasy world. And it's like, oh, that's really cool, but like that's totally what Horizon is as well, in a different way because you're not typically hunting monsters, but oftentimes you're not hunting physical monsters in The Witcher 3, but more people. But there is just like you examine clues, you compare evidence, you make theories. Like Aloy comes across like in a very detective like way, that reminds me a lot of Geralt in a good way. It's a high compliment. But that's really all on Horizon. I've played another 5 hours of it and I've been having fun with it. I also jumped into God of War again. Just that was more of like after I started playing Horizon, I was like, man, I feel like maybe didn't appreciate the PlayStation exclusives of this console generation as much as I wanted to. Not that like I'm doing soul searching, right? I'm just seeing if there's anything there that I missed, right? I never finished Horizon, right? I ended up being like positive, but not wholly positive on Spider-Man, and obviously like as time has worn on, God of War is like soured with me. Even though I did think it was good when it came out, and I still think it is a good video game. Going back to it, I'm just trying to have an open mind, and I'm having fun with it. I'm having a good time. I've not barely touched it. Right, this is another case of like I started a new save not that long ago, maybe 6 months ago, maybe a year ago, to try and like I'm gonna give this game another shot, and bounced off of it right after finishing the tutorial. Kind of opening section, so I loaded up that save and jumped back into where I left off, and didn't really have any trouble getting back into it, and have found myself enjoying it a lot. So I don't know where this playthrough will take me. I don't know if I'm going to just stop playing it at some point, but we'll see. So far, so good. I don't know what brought this about me, but maybe I just maybe it's just societal peer pressure that I didn't like God of War as much as everybody else. But we'll see what if I end up finishing it again, what my ultimate opinion is. And the only other thing is Sekiro Shadows Die Twice. Did I talk about this? No, I didn't talk about anything last week. I replayed all of Sekiro over break and finished it for 4th time and loved it. Absolutely loved it. And after I played it, because I like this most recent playthrough, having played and finished it 3 times before now, like blazed through it. Had zero trouble. And it was like I've learned everything I needed to learn from this game kind of feeling, and feeling like I just have this familiarity, some understanding of the language that this game speaks, and it just speaks to me and I just get it. So things like countering, parrying, timing, like it almost felt like I was playing the game in slow motion because I was very comfortable with all of the tools that I had at my disposal. And this most recent playthrough of Sekiro was like, man, I barely used the prosthetic arm, which in a lot of ways is like a versatile crutch that you can use to get through tougher encounters, right?
So you're like mastering your own style.
Yeah. And it was cool. It was a very unique, satisfying feeling. And getting to the final boss for the first time now and beating him on my first try on this new playthrough was incredible. Like, my heart was pounding by the end of it. And then after I did that, I went to my New Game Plus save. And I'm like, I'm going to beat these bosses. And then I beat the kind of last 3 bosses on that New Game Plus. Again, just taking the things that I'd learned and the kind of patience that I'd learned over playing it multiple times and just beating them and getting through it. And that netted me pretty much all the trophies except for I have to unlock all the skills, which is a grind. It's a very, very intense grind. But now that I beat it and I'm on New Game Plus 3 or 4 or whatever, it's going faster, right? I can just kind of play through the game again and get a lot of experience that way. So that's what I'm hoping to do. But yeah, I just love that game. I love that game so much, and hopefully I will get the platinum. It was something I wanted to do last year, but it is a heavy grind, and at some point I just had to walk away. But so far, having a lot of fun with it. A couple of things I did over break, just worth mentioning. I beat The Witcher 3 again, which was
Nice.
great. I went for a different ending this time, which was good. I still like the kind of
Which one?
original ending that I got the best. What were you saying, Tony?
Which one did you go for?
So the first time I played it, spoilers for anyone playing. I know there's a lot of people playing The Witcher 3 right now. So if you don't want to spoil it, skip 5 minutes ahead. I originally, when I played it, I got the Nabeshin. I got the same ending as you. I got the Ciri becomes a Witcher ending, which I would say is my personal favorite ending.
I think it's the most full circle ending.
Yes, I agree. This time, I decided to do the Siri becomes Empress ending. Just it's basically one choice that you make will kind of determine that path. And it was like really heartbreaking. Like it was really sad.
Yeah,
But it was good. It was powerful. And while again, it's not my favorite ending, I also think that is a good, acceptable ending depending on like how you played that game, right? And it was cool just playing a couple of scenes a little bit differently. Like I played things with Dijkstra a little bit differently, so that way when you get to the point where you're like kind of gathering everybody to come to Kaer Morhen, I was like, what if Dijkstra's on your side when you get there, and he doesn't come to Kaer Morhen or give you men or anything, but he gives you like a bunch of money and like a bunch of very rare runes. I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. So I just played things a little bit differently, and maybe I'll play Blood and Wine now. I probably won't because I played through The Witcher again, but maybe I will. And I will say, like, that was this most recent playthrough of The Witcher was like I'm like reading all the dialogue and skipping all the voice acting, and like I'm trying to get through this game as quickly as possible while still like having fun and kind of living in the scenes that I wanted to see again. And it still took me 56 hours. So,
yeah. The beginning of that game kind of fucking drags, dude.
Yeah.
In my
I feel like
after the first time you go through it, revisiting that game, getting up through the fucking like the swamps
all of Velen.
area. Yeah, it's just was always like a slog for me.
It went by way faster this time, which I appreciate. Obviously, kind of knowing what to do, knowing where to go, and et cetera, et cetera. But even still, like I managed to find new things that I hadn't seen before. And it was cool too because I was curious this time around. There's basically a major choice that you can make at the end of The Witcher 2 as to whether or not to kill another Witcher who's kind of like the antagonist of that game. And I looked up what happens if you let him live because I didn't when I played it. And he totally shows up in the Velen in that first part of The Witcher 3. And I was like, wow, I didn't even know he had a character model in this game. So I looked up that video and saw like what happens there, which is cool. But yeah, I played it differently. I spec'd differently for combat.
How much Gwent did you play?
I played so much Gwent, dude. The thing I will not compromise on every time I play The Witcher 3 is like I gotta play all of Gwent.
You gotta put all them spies down.
I gotta play all the spies. Yeah, it's so good when you get to play when you draw all of your cards from your deck in Gwent. It's very good. It's a good feeling.
You just look across the table and you're like,
you're holding like 40 cards.
You done yet?
Like, all right, you gonna end your turn now? Because I'm gonna play 15 cards back to back real quick, if that's cool.
And still have 30.
And still have 30, and you're gonna just be sad. But it was cool. Never lost a round of Gwent this time. I think The Witcher was like the big ticket item I played over break. I think I touched a couple of things. I booted up Mario Odyssey, and I played.
Any updated feelings on The Witcher?
I see the rough patches more. I see the frustrations more. So I played through it on Xbox One in performance mode the whole time now, this time around. And I like the combat a lot more this time. Was a big thing. Like when there's a little bit more fluidity to it, I thought it was a lot of fun. And I felt like the kind of dodges and timing stuff out felt a lot better. So I would say improved feeling in that regard, because that was the thing of like, it's fine, but I thought it was a lot of fun this time, and I totally spec'd differently. I spec'd all sign powers, like the whole blue tree, and I was just doing magic left and right, which was really fun. It felt really different than the first time I played it, which I appreciated. It was the right call, because the first time I played it, I put everything into the red tree, the combat tree. Or combat skill page, or whatever you want to call it. I think I had a better appreciation for both Triss and Yennefer this time around, especially having watched the show. and kind of like seeing a lot of the first stories between Geralt and Yennefer in like seeing them play out. Um, I think I just loved it more, honestly, because a lot of it, like the first thing, I don't know if you remember this, Nabeshin, but like with the first thing that you do in that game when you go to the inn with Vesemir, uh, and the guy who we learn is Gaunter O'Dim, who turns out to be the villain of the first DLC, right, or one of the villains, he refers to you as the Butcher of Blaviken, like within the first 5 to 10 minutes of that game. And it was the first time when I had seen that where I was like, I know what that means now. And it was really cool. And there was a lot of that stuff. Like obviously the whole Yennefer, Geralt, The Last Wish quest, like side quest, was awesome. And it was like way heavier for me. And I felt like I understood the Geralt Yennefer relationship a lot more. Which I like, we've talked about it before. Like you just feel something there. But now I had a better appreciation for the good and the bad of that feeling, and then kind of like the toxicity that's there, but also like the weirdness that's that hot fire that's there, So I think there was a lot more appreciation. It was cool to like hearing things that are referenced and realizing more and more now that, like these are probably stories from the book, because it was the same thing of like the Butcher of Blaviken, a story that I'd heard about a lot, but I had never seen or I didn't know the kind of point-to-point details of, and Ciri referencing like times when they were on Skellige together, and when she was training at Kaer Morhen and stuff like that. Like I had a much bigger appreciation for, it's like, this is stuff that they're all tying together, and that's really cool. So I liked it more. I would say, like, again, the roughness of it, the 2015ness of it, I think is more visible to me now. Just of like, in some ways, visuals on games have improved, even though the game still looks great. Obviously in a very broad way. In some ways, like character dialogue conversations are better, and like the kind of rough around the edges aspects of combat, and like the slowness of the inventory UI and stuff like that, which I know is much better on PC. So yeah, I think I appreciate it more. I saw a couple of those more glaring things, but it still didn't get in the way of me really enjoying that game. And it's just a very good father-daughter story. I think that's it. I think those are my video games. Scotty, did you play any video games this week?
I got 3 for you.
Okay. Where do you want to start?
First up, Luigi's Mansion.
Hell yes, dude.
Okay, so last time I left off at the... Honestly, I don't remember. I'm pretty sure the time where I got to this time is I went through the music level.
Nice.
And I am now halfway through the garden level.
No, I like the garden level a lot. Because it's way more vertical, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any favorites so far of Luigi's Mansion 3? Favorite sections of it?
Chef level so far.
Yeah, Chef's good.
It's just a really good bit.
It's a good bit. I really like the I think it's like the first major floor that you go to, the castle, like the medieval times level.
Oh, I did that one too.
Yeah, I think that one's fun. I liked going through all the weird little rooms that have the medieval traps and like swinging axes and the spikes under the floor and all that. I thought that was cool. And then the boss fight, I just thought was clever and fun.
Yeah, that boss fight was a pretty difficult one.
Yeah,
because
you have to do a lot of it very quickly.
It's not immediately apparent that he is revealing himself as he is getting ready to hit you. Furthermore, that is a short window.
Yeah, that's the thing that
it is a short window. If you're not in the right spot, if you don't stop at the right spot, you're going to get run over. And if you miss the window, you're getting hit pretty hard.
There was only like one time one thing in that whole game, and in the sections that I played, where I was like, where I thought it was something was bad at all. And I don't want to ruin it for you, but that's like, I think it's B2, basement floor 2. That was the floor where like the kind of last part of that I thought was like not fun. But I think there's like a specific different like challenge in every floor there, including the medieval times one. It's super fun.
Yeah, it's fun, but it is still missing a good portion of one, where I think it could have done much better.
What's that?
It's in one, you had a good look at most of the ghosts that you were going to fight way before you're going to fight them.
Yeah.
And it's not just that, it's you had to figure out what would tick them off enough to get that fight started in the first place.
Yeah.
Or you would have to figure out what to set them off, and from here it go from point A to point B.
Yeah.
It's an interesting path, but it is fairly thoughtless along the way.
Without ruining it, I think there is like they do
So-
add some of that into like the later levels.
I am roughly halfway through the game.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully it picks up, because it's gotten, the difficulty curve is very comfortable
Yeah.
for somebody who's played the hell out of Luigi's Mansion 1 and 2.
Yeah. It's probably a little easy, I would say.
It starts to get a bit rough.
Okay.
Like the piano boss isn't too easy.
No.
No, the random encounters are low, and the health is high.
Mm-hmm.
Or sorry, the heart drop rate is high, so it mitigates how hard it is simply by making getting hit not important so long as you win the immediate fight.
Yeah. But some of those
And-
fights get long, you know.
Yes, but not the encounters in between,
Yeah, you're right.
which is again a portion of it that I find a little bit lacking there.
I get you.
And there's two ways that they could have dealt with it, and that is less heart drops, which I think is the better way to do it, because I don't think the better way to do it would have been more encounters, because I don't necessarily disagree with them blocking off doors every time you want to do an encounter.
Yeah.
Because if you remember in 1, if you find a ghost and you having trouble with the fight, just leave the room. You can do that in tons of fights.
Yeah, and also like
And if you want to heal up, generally what you're doing is you have to fight something to get that heart. Sometimes you'll have heart containers that you can run around. Save the game, turn it off, and shake things around.
yeah, I think if you talk to any toad, they'll refill your health too.
Yeah, that's true. But every time you do that, you know what you got to do? Fight your way back to where you were going.
Yeah. I remember like in 1, having replayed it last October, it was definitely like the hearts are few and far between.
Right, and it's and the thing about it is it wasn't too little. Maybe it was because of the toads, but it wasn't too little. It was pretty easy to go from room to room without making that mistake. But at the same time, it was just as easy to get comfortable, not pay attention as much, mess up a couple of times, and then be in hot water.
Yeah, that's fair. I'm curious to see. Have you done the movie studio one?
Not yet.
Okay, that's the one where I think they like change up the pacing of it, at least for the first time that I remember. But you're not wrong. There's a lot of point A to point B. I think they do a good job of like, in a lot of ways, like Luigi's Mansion 3 kind of reminds me of like Disneyland. Like you're kind of like being taken on a tour through the scare factory. Very Haunted Mansion-esque of like you are going from point A to point B, but they do a good job of like doing fun stuff along the way. So, but that's a totally fair feeling. So you're on the what floor did you say you were on? You just did the music one.
Yeah. I know. I am on the grass floor.
Oh yeah, that's right. The plant.
The tree that goes up.
Yeah. Shout out to that. Have you seen any of those weird like plant mouth things popping up again yet? Like the weird Venus flytrap carnivorous looking plants.
Somewhat.
Yeah, they creep me out.
I think he's introduced them, but I haven't really fought one yet.
I think there's just like the one big one, so I'm not sure.
Well, I mean, yeah, he ate my key.
Yeah, he did. It's rude.
Yeah,
Impolite,
fuck that guy.
to say the least.
Fuck that guy.
Fuck that guy. Fuck that
Give me
weird
my key
ghost,
back.
ghost gardener. Anything
Give
else
me
we can play?
my goddamn key back. Yeah, we can now move on to Satisfactory.
Satisfactory.
Yep.
It's back.
Uh,
Popular demand.
yeah,
Have they added stuff to it?
they have.
Cool.
This is where you expect me to tell you what it is, but I don't know. I haven't gotten there yet.
I know you said you were playing with our friend Greg.
Still doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, yeah, we're still in the same save, pretty much same everything. Just picked up back where we were, and not too much has changed since we last started picking it up. Simply because we haven't really played.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, we figured out why though.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got them restaurant hours,
Yes, he does.
and those.
They don't
Those are
necessarily
some
agree
tough-
with the college turn hours, so
Nope, no, they don't.
yeah. Greg works pretty late a lot, I think.
Yeah, and then like it doesn't work with regular workday hours either.
Yeah. He's just still cooking back there. I don't know why I said it like that, but yes. Yeah, he's usually out till like 10 or 11. I know because him and Ethan hang out here a lot, and they'll do it after work, and it's usually like 11 p.m. to midnight. It's when they start. So
Yeah.
it gets a little wild here. Luckily, I wear headphones, so I don't care. All right. If that's satisfactory, what about Tarkov?
Tarkov. Not too much has changed since last week.
Mm-hmm.
I did my first labs run
Okay.
with Tony. Unfortunately, the two boys that were running me through died.
Oh God.
I tried my best.
We had a very long, successful run on this map. And we haven't really talked about labs, but labs is basically like it's the one map that you have to pay a pretty high entrance fee just to get into.
Oh. Okay.
And insurance doesn't work. So if you die, everything that you had with you, no matter what, is lost.
Damn. High stakes, high rewards, I assume.
So that's the basis of it. And then on top of that, normally there's like AI that spawn on the maps, like scat. On this map, it's all raiders, which are advanced AI with better aimbot, better actual AI, and they're significantly more aggressive and have better items and more grenades, which they will use.
Oh yeah, they will absolutely use the fuck
like,
out of
they're
those
the kind of thing
grenades.
where like the game has like lean keys, and if like there's a doorway and there's a raider on the other side of a doorway that has seen you, and then you press that button to peek lean over the side like at them real quick. If you peek a raider, they will headshot you instantly and you're dead.
Damn.
And and most of the time they're equipped with bullets that will penetrate the best helmets in the game.
Yeah.
So you have to fight them in a pretty specific way. And at the same time, there are 10 players on this pretty small all interior map that is very complicated and has specific ways that you have to get out of the map. There's no extract that you can just go to, and there's always a process for each one. Some of them have limited uses, et cetera, et cetera. So there's a lot of map knowledge that comes into play, but the loot is fantastic. The raiders drop really good loot. You can get rich real quick on that map. But it's high risk. So I like it because my favorite thing to do in Tarkov is to get juiced out of my mind on like an incredibly expensive kit.
I thought you were about to say like in real life and then play Tarkov.
Yeah, that too. And then go in, with players that are similarly geared.
Yeah.
It's no fun going in with massive gear on if the people you're playing with are walking around with like a 30K kit and you're like, I got $1 million on, like they're no
I like
help
that they're
to you.
defined
They're
by
just,
like how expensive everything is. That's cool.
yeah. They're no help to you at that point. It's just like useless noise, and like like flailing about.
Yeah, flailing arms and useless noise. Understood.
Yeah, and, so like
You don't have to talk. I'm right
I
here,
like
Tony.
going in with like a squad, like a juiced up squad, and that's what labs. You don't really ever want to go to labs with nothing on you, because
Is it one of those things where you can like matchmake, or you have to have a squad before you go in? Like,
no, I mean you can go in solo if you want. Tarkov is always like that. You matchmake into a certain with a group of up to 5.
okay.
So yeah, you could be half the server, but there's still all of the raiders and all that. So yeah, it's pretty interesting to deal with that kind of map as compared to the raid. So yeah, going into that, and like we had like probably like a 35-minute raid where we were like holding the hallway, because that's how you fight the raiders basically. Is you pick a hallway that has doorways on either end, so you can protect your back from other players or whatever. And then there are mechanics that like buttons that you press to activate exits, and the buttons will also summon raiders. So like you press a button to open the garage, which you can escape if you go out through the garage. But when you open the garage doors, these big armored doors open, a bunch of raiders come flooding in and can spawn in waves to come in and try and fight off the people who are trying to leave.
Whoa, that's cool.
So we're sitting in a hallway adjacent, connected to this garage. One of us runs up and presses the button that opens the exit, so the raiders. And then we're like, we'll hold angles on that door or on the right inside the door with the doors closed. So the AI will come up, if they know you're there, if you aggro them with like shooting at the wall or throwing a grenade out the door or whatever to get their attention, they will push you. And they'll open the door, and as soon as they open the door and walk in, the second they walk in, you headshot them from the angles that you have on the entrance to the door. But you don't want to take an angle that looks out the door, because they will headshot you with aimbot. Like as soon as they open the door, they'll see you, and if they see you, you're dead, pretty much.
Damn.
So, we had basically like 3 of us. One of us would hold the back door, then the other 2 would hold angles on the front door, which is nearest to the garage. The raiders would spawn, we'd aggro the raiders, they'd come in, open the door, we'd kill like 2 or 3 raiders, and then one person would watch while the other person crept up and then closed the door. And then you go on the raider's body, pick up everything off their body, and then go around the corner and drop it so you can loot it safely. So we had this massive pile of loot, of like probably 16 17 dead raiders after 30 minutes or whatever. Then we loot up, and then one of us goes out to start pushing towards the exit and immediately gets destroyed by a raider. Like goes
No. River died to the guy downstairs. So
no, he died in the garage. He pushed up towards the exit, and there's a raider standing in the hallway that is the actual exit. The raider peeks out and shoots him, and he's like, "I'm dead."
I love that this guy's name is River. I don't know anything about him but that's.
Yeah, River's like the guy who I've played duos with pretty much the entirety of the time that I've been playing this game.
Got it.
So yeah, he died, and we're like, all right. We were like, okay, well, we'll loot. We'll loot up. Scott and I end up killing a couple more raiders as we sort out all the loot, and like we're holding like stacked backpacks, literally packed to the gills, full of mods and weapons and armor and all this crazy shit. And the extract is like 15 feet from us out. We have to run through the garage up to this hallway, and you stand in front of the hallway for 10 seconds, you're out of there. So yeah, we Scott and I were like, we'll push for this close one instead of circling all the way around, pressing another button, waiting for an elevator, getting the elevator, and then leaving. So we push out. A guy, I'm leading because I know where I'm going. So I peek around, I walk around this car. A raider starts lighting me up. I return fire from the hip, kill him, but almost die. So I duck behind the car next to me. And then I hear a little tink on the ground next to me, and Scott's like, "Grenade!" And I'm like, "No!" And then I die.
No.
I shoot that guy dead.
Yeah.
And then a little extra for good measure.
Yeah.
Because fuck that guy.
Double tap.
And then I'm like, Tony, I got your gun. I got your gun. I get out, and I took the wrong fucking gun.
He left my like $1 million gun on the ground and took a piece of
Oh, that's amazing. That's
which is fine because like I said, in labs you can't insure gear, so it's gone if you die. So really the rule is, when at least in our groups when we play in labs, if you die, your gear is forfeit. If your friend dies, loot them up, take their shit. Not in the malicious way, just that they're not getting it back. It's better for you to use the good shit to try and save your life.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And if Scott had gotten out with that gun, been his gun. So
Yeah.
but yeah, so
I mean, I would have given it back.
Oh, Scott's a good.
I would have taken the raid and said, that gun that he had, it's on the floor.
Yeah.
And if he would have just said no, it would have stayed on that floor.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, labs is cool. That's my favorite map.
That's cool. That's a
because
cool
I like
concept.
I like the intensity to it. And Tarkov is like, the thing that makes Tarkov cool is that and I talked about this last time I talked about it, is that it's really great at creating moments.
Yeah.
And labs is exceptionally good at that.
It's kind of cool too. Like, I know this is obviously a very different thing, but the thing it reminds me of, and obviously Tarkov has the benefit of time and hindsight, and it can take all inspiration from a lot of ideas that exist. But like, kind of reminds me of like Arena in Hearthstone, of like obviously different, but like you have to buy in. And once you're in, difference being like you take what you want into labs, but it's for the intent of creating like moments.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, this is your high, or like a Destiny raid even. Like, this is like the big thing where you get the highest payoff, but you take the highest risk.
Yeah.
It's cool how it like takes all of the ideas that are in Tarkov and like amplifies them to 11.
Yeah,
it's cool.
Absolutely. Yeah, and labs also, a huge thing about it is when you go in there, in order to effectively kill, you need some of the best ammo in the game. Mm-hmm. So every time you shoot, every round that comes out of your gun is costing you 1,000 rubles. Jeez. So if you go in there with 260 mags, it's 120,000 rubles just on ammo.
Yeah, it's never not high stakes.
Right, exactly. Like, even if you come in with a minimalistic loadout, if you're coming in equipped to kill raiders, there is not really a minimalistic loadout that you can use.
You gotta go. You gotta know you're spending money to get money.
Exactly. Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's like I said, it makes really interesting situations because it's so high risk.
Yeah, that's cool. Tony, did you play anything outside of Tarkov?
I played a lot of Tarkov. Really, that's just when I'm at home. I get home from work, I have dinner or whatever, and then I'll play Tarkov for a couple hours, and then maybe one game of League, and then go to bed.
Cool. Sounds like a good day.
Yeah, it's not bad. But no, it's been a lot of Tarkov, which same shit, just completing quests, doing a bunch of stuff, killing bitches, killing killer. And then
you covered that in killing bitches.
Yeah, I think
that's true.
Well marked territory.
Fact, kill a bitch. There's been that. Yeah, there's been some League. I played a one ranked game in season, what is it, season 10 now?
Mm-hmm. I thought it was like season 15. I was like, I don't know what are we up to?
10. I don't know, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's League of Legends.
So
Sure.
Well, it's just League, and then but really like the main thing for me this week, since I'm all caught up on Critical Role.
Mm-hmm.
Up to date on the podcast for both campaign 1 and campaign 2. I have needed.
Can we talk about
solution
real quick, Tony? The fact that Matt Mercer is such a good DM that they were like, "Why don't you just make Dungeons and Dragons?"
Yeah, right. Why don't you just develop it for us? There.
Can you just make you made the best, goodest Dungeons and Dragons world? Can you just make that an official Dungeons and Dragons world? And then they did. So
super fucking cool.
So cool. Absolutely amazing. What's a Dungeon Master's Guide? Is it a DM guide or is it like the touring of that world, the name of that world.
Yeah, it's like an adventurer's guide kind of thing.
Yeah, to that world that Matt Mercer made for Critical Role. So super cool. And he tweeted about it this week. It was like obviously a huge honor and whatnot, but like very well deserved. Tony and I have talked about it on the show a lot, but if you've never listened, Critical Role, very good.
Yeah, you should.
Matt Mercer is the GOAT.
Yeah. And if there's some like sketchy audio at the beginning if you start campaign 1 episode, and it can be a little hard to get into because they pick up from an ongoing game, kind of just jumping right in. So a lot of the time when people start listening to Critical Role, they feel a little lost, and that can be a bit of a turnoff for the beginning of Critical Role. If you want something much more approachable, you could just start at the beginning of campaign 2. Which is much more recent, and they had like 120 episodes to figure out how to do audio. So it's in great audio form, and it's just a good time.
Yeah, and no spoilers for campaign 1.
True. There are references though, many references.
Okay, that's cool.
I can't wait, dude. Like until you finally like listen to campaign 2 and get up to this week's.
This week specifically, we're talking about like hundreds of hours.
Yeah.
Right.
It's gonna be a while, right? Yeah. But when you get here, holy shit! This past week's episode,
I heard something through the grapevine,
ridiculous,
about how it was some referential stuff that was cool. That's all I heard.
Yeah, they talked about sunning their buttholes.
Didn't hear that.
Yeah,
that sounds all right though.
Laura Bailey's character Jester has a weasel.
Nice.
And has had a weasel since like episode like 20, and now it's episode 90 or whatever. So it's been like years or like a year, right, since they got this weasel. And for they go through combat situations, and when she first got it, they'd be talking about like by the way, mild weasel spoilers for you Critical Role fans, but they're good spoilers. So they'd be like they're fighting in a dangerous situation, and then Laura would be and Sprinkle, which is the weasel's name, Sprinkle is hiding here or whatever, but Sprinkle's default position is like around Chester's, like
on the shoulders,
between her neck and her collar.
Yeah.
And the running joke, because Laura eventually like forgot about Sprinkle for like 25 30 episodes. And during that time, a lot of time passed. So the rest of the cast started like saying like Sprinkle's dead. Sprinkle's gotta be dead. Like it's been like 30 fights and like weeks, and he's never eaten. Like you've been knocked out or whatever. You've been damaged a lot. Like there's no way Sprinkle's alive. And Matt doesn't want to make it canon that Sprinkle's just fucking dead. So so they'll like avoid it. But in this episode, man, they really started railing on Laura hard. It was like literally the entire table just like can't stop laughing because they're just talking about like because every time they talk about it, like Sprinkle, Sam will be like, "Save me!" Like help me, kill me.
That's good.
Please kill me. It's the best fucking inside joke, weasel joke. It's actually fucking hilarious.
Shout out to weasels and ferrets.
Yeah, dead weasels.
Dead weasels.
And the sunning of buttholes.
Is that how you've been playing, Tony?
No. So that was a whole.
Yeah. Was this a setup for another?
Yeah, this was a setup for another thing because I'm all caught up on Critical.
Yes, that's right.
But because I'm all caught up on Critical Role, and that was what I listened to while at work for like 6 months.
Oh yeah.
I needed a new thing to listen to, so I've started listening to VODs of one of the streamers that I like play Persona 5. And so I'm like 60 hours in to a Persona 5 run now. Right at
just over halfway through.
Right at the end of Futaba's Palace.
Yeah, that adds up.
Literally in the cooldown after that, like waiting for the time to expire.
Mm-hmm.
And man, that game is so good.
The game is
Even if you're even only listening to the audio of that game,
it's still great. It's a great
yeah,
time.
yeah.
I'm excited. I
It's
played that game last year, and I'm excited to play it again this year with the Royal.
Persona 5 is lit.
It's lit.
I got some feelings about Persona 5, dude.
Yeah, you've had some changes of heart too yourself.
Yeah, man.
We'll see how they play out in a couple months.
Yeah. I mean, I think we all know where that's going.
Yeah, well, we'll see. Got it, Kasumi. Don't forget, is a new character, so you never know.
Dude, Hifumi is lit.
Hifumi is lit though.
Yeah.
Brian Nabeshin Jackson. I've heard you self-described as a Chain of Memories stan.
Yes.
Is there any thoughts and feelings that came from this week that specifically brought this about?
No, I'm just.
Did you?
I mean, I am too.
I like the story of Chain of Memories a lot.
Yeah.
I like how it plays. I don't like Rechain as much.
Okay.
Same.
Okay.
The style was, I believe, reduced because of the limitations of the Game Boy Advanced, and I think it fits what they were trying to do there very well.
Mm-hmm.
And putting it to 3D does not fit the system nearly as well.
The pixel art in Chain of Memories does not get enough
Oh,
credit. It's super good.
Oh yeah, that's very good.
Yeah. What you been playing this week, Nabeshin? I just want to use that as a jumping board.
I didn't really play much of anything.
You played Chain of Memories?
No, I didn't actually.
Oh, really? You just thought about Chain of Memories a lot?
I thought about it. I replayed through the first game. Just going through first. Like I said that last week, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, just replayed through the first game, and then I just pretty much just watched the movie of Chain of Memory because I don't have time to actually play it the way I want to. Because I'm considering going back to the 2 again. I say considering because it's a weird thing with me with that game. Seeing that it is my favorite of all time. I've only went through it completely, from front to back, maybe 3 times.
Really?
Okay. And being the person who likes to replay games multiple times, that's the one where it's it's kind of hard for me just to go back to it. Just it brings up a lot out of me, feelings, emotions.
That's fair.
I love that game so damn much, and it's one of those things where it's oh, does this really still hold up? This type of thing, and I know it does. Every time I attempt to even think about doing it, I listen to the intro again, the orchestra. We don't press anything; it just the auto movie play. I just listen to the orchestra of My Sanctuary, and that one's just that is it. It's yes, that's everything. The orchestra is so good.
For me,
so damn good.
It's the I don't know. I don't think it's every boss fight music, but the one that plays anytime you fight an organization member.
Mm-hmm.
The dun 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 dun. I don't know how it goes exactly, but it gives me chills every time I hear it. It's so good. I get that. I totally get that.
Yeah, because I was thinking about that too, because it's one of those things where it's one of my dumb things where it's oh, I should mention this to just put it on the ether, just let people know about this, and it's no, that's stupid. This is too much of a me thing. I know people like it, but whatever. It's just one of the things.
Mm-hmm.
It's
you go ahead. I was just for me, Kingdom Hearts 2 is the game that for maybe 8 years I played every year, once a year. So it's it's maybe the game I've replayed the most in a weird way. Trying to think full front to back RPG, it must be. So for me, Kingdom Hearts 2 is Mass Effect for you. It's just
basically.
Yeah, I'll no. Feed me. But it is one of those things, I think what you're saying with Kingdom Hearts 2 for you is kind of where I'm at with Breath of the Wild. Of that takes a lot out of me. But it's the 2 times I've front to back played through that whole game, it's just been magic, So I do understand as much as I can.
Yeah. And it's definitely one of those things where it's I appreciate it every time that I play it, that like it's not something. Even though like I love Mass Effect, I could play it every day. I played it every day for 2 years straight, and like and I'll never get tired of it. And like I love it for that. It's something about with that game in particular where it's like it's just like not like it's like an emergency thing, but this is like something that's like I can't just like if I want to play you, I'm putting my everything and I'm putting everything into you. I'm not gonna get distracted by playing Ori, which I'm playing right now, and like like other video games. It's like when I want to get into you, I want to get into you. Which I'm probably still gonna do because I kind of want to redo that before the 3 DLC comes out this week. We'll see if we do that because like if anything,
that's a lot in 1 week, you know.
Oh, I know. Like I was thinking about doing 2 and then 3. But like I don't know, like if 3 is gonna be like stuff like you didn't, like it's gonna be like a menu choice or something you have to like stuff you see actually when you replay through the game.
Yeah, we got a lot of questions for being 1 week out. I'm totally with you. Like, is this like a final mix? You know.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know if I want to replay entirely through 3 and then like have to replay it entirely again just to do the DLC.
That's why I stopped replaying through 3 because I'm like, I don't know if this is going to be a you have to start from scratch type thing, which I'm totally down for if it is. It's just one of those things of I probably shouldn't put 30 more hours into finishing it again if that is how this is going to go. It's just not a good use of time.
Exactly.
So yeah.
But yeah, that's my thoughts on that.
Cool. The Chain of Memories movie. Is this how long is it?
Oh, it's just going through the theater mode. It's just like seeing all the cutscenes.
Okay.
That's all it is.
Okay, I'm not sure. I'm trying to think. I feel like I might have done that at one point. I'm happy that I did finally play through Chain of Memories, right, and like kind of consume the story in a way that I consumed it when I did a few years ago.
So. I could go off about Chain of Memories right now, but I'm not. Because I like it so much. But like I think we'll save that for like when we do the other dumb thing that I wanted to do.
Sure. It's good, man. It's really good. And you're right that I think the pervasive feeling is like it just doesn't get enough credit for what it sets up, how it moves those character storylines along, like just the emotions that you feel during it. Yeah, I'm totally. Especially Riku in that game, because I talked about it when I did the I don't know if that you have strong feelings about Riku in that game, but when I went back and played it and kind of experienced that game in a lot of ways for the first time, after immediately having finished Kingdom Hearts 1, like in Kingdom Hearts 1, I think Riku kind of sucks like the whole time. Like he's cool as like the big brother kind of figure in the beginning, and then they kind of turn him into a little bit of a one-note villain, but then like they also try and make him a little bit more interesting at the end. It's like, okay, like there's something here, but they totally like define the kind of arc that they want to set him on in Chain of Memories, and like he shines so much in that game. He's so good, and he becomes one of my favorite characters. So, Ori and the Blind Forest though, you have been playing.
Yeah,
that's a real video game, not a cutscene version of video game. What do you think of that?
I like it. Like
this is your first time playing, right?
Like it's been multiple times. Like this is the first real attempt of playing that. I was just saying. Because I remember when it came out, like I played it on PC. I got it on PC for some reason. I don't even remember why. And I
remember this, but I don't remember why.
I got it on PC for some reason because I had an Xbox One. I don't know why I got it on PC, but whatever. But yeah, I played like maybe like the first like 3-4 hours of it, and like I mean maybe not that much because I'm maybe like
half the game. So
yeah, exactly. Because like I'm like 6.5 hours into my current playthrough right now, so like I'm almost done with that one. Like I maybe just did like the first thing in that game, and that's probably it. Like the first stone or whatever, and that's it. And like I enjoyed it for what it was. Like my PC couldn't run, or my PC, my damn laptop couldn't run that game like worth shit. Like at least not to a level of satisfaction that I liked, and like it was just too cumbersome to like to try to get that to work every time. So I just stopped playing it on that. Then eventually like it came on the Xbox One. I bought that, and then like the definitive edition got announced, and then like I waited for that, and I got it for free because like if you bought it regularly, you got it for free. So I had that, and then I just sat on my Xbox forever. I just never really played it. And like like you spoke a lot about it. Like I've heard other people spoke highly of Ori and the Blind Forest. I think mostly what made me get into it, like actually giving it a real try, obviously because the sequel's about to come out. Yeah. It's like Max talked about his wife JJ, like he was saying like that's one of her favorite games of all time, and like when it came on Switch, like she just 100% it again, and like she just plays it like all the time, and like she just masters that game, and Max really likes it too. It's like one of their like other than like Monster Hunter World, it's like one of their like connective tissue games that was like, oh, we're in this together, like we're cry together, we're in for this game together type of thing.
Together,
so like
yeah, I know.
Yeah, Bad Boys for Life. Watch those movies, by the way. I watched those movies. I watched all three of them.
I watched 1 and 2. And it's been a few years. Boy, I forgot it. Like listening to the interview, I was like, man, I forgot. I remember Bad Boys 1 being a very bad movie, but enjoying it, but I didn't remember to what extent it was bad. Bad Boys 2 I like Bad Boys 2 a lot.
Like before in review, like Bad Boys 1 and like I guess we're talking about this. Bad Boys 1 like I've always seen bits and pieces, but I've never seen like the entire full thing. So like watching the full thing, I was like, oh wow, this movie's like so dated and
Scott
bad.
and I referenced the Skittles line for a hot minute in high school for a while. So.
Yeah, I didn't know what it was from.
Yeah, Scott did not know what it was from. Also,
and like Bad Boys 2, like the only two things I remember from that movie was like the woosah and like Will Smith with two guns like against the wall, like circling around. Because I remember that was like an awesome shot, and it still is an awesome shot.
Mm-hmm.
But
you
like,
remember the guy coming to pick up his daughter for the day.
But like, man, like going back to that movie, like, that movie's just trash. It is trash. I did not like Bad Boys 2. Like it has like a lot of epic stuff as far as like action and everything, and but like like Gabrielle Union's in that movie, and like she gets forgotten about like for like an hour, and then it's like, oh yeah, I have a sister. Oh yeah, we should do this something about it, and like explosions out of everywhere, and just like I just didn't like it.
I'll be honest, I was not sober when I watched Bad Boys 2. And I had a very good time. I don't remember much about it.
Sorry if this is too personal. Does Damien like them? Because it seems like something you will watch with Damien.
It
and
is
you
something
both
I
would
would watch
enjoy.
with Damien. I don't think he's seen either Bad Boys movies.
Okay.
Which you're right. I should watch Bad Boys with Damien.
You see, like you will love those
Ride
movies.
together, die together. Now, you saw Bad Boys 3?
Yeah, I saw it the day before yesterday, I think. It's actually good as far as like it actually being a movie. Like as far as like
It's a modern movie.
having character development and like having like stuff structured and stuff like that. Like it's a good movie as far as that. Like it just shits on the other movies as far as it being a movie. Like yeah, it's actually decent. It's still just an okay mediocre movie in general, but like yeah, I think it's like it's way above like the other two in my opinion.
Because it has a coherent story that makes sense point A to point B.
Yeah, basically,
it does
yes.
not take much to be a good movie, or like at least a coherent one. And Bad Boys 2 and 1 do not necessarily live up to that.
Mm-hmm.
That's good to hear. I want to see it. I didn't want to see it before I started watching In Review, and then I was like, I should see this through.
It's interesting what In Review has done with me with movies lately. Like
too,
I'm
dude.
definitely like I've been watching it with my best friend Tony. Like we just been watching movies like constantly now, and now like,
dude.
and like now we're at the point where like we're just like watching like these series of movies that we're all together and just enjoying them lately, and apparently we're gonna watch the Harry Potter movies because he's never seen any of them, so like that's like a sequence of events that we're gonna have to watch together. So
I'm sorry in advance.
I mean, like I've seen them before. Like I'll enjoy them.
Yeah,
I enjoyed them when I first saw them.
Yeah, they're fine. It's just
Oh, I know.
that's my thing. That's you want to put a fire in my heart. That's good. Like I wouldn't have watched the Mission Impossible movies because
Exactly.
that's the only one currently in review that I've actually watched the movies along with them.
Mm-hmm.
And man, that was so much fun. Absolutely,
Exactly.
like totally new appreciation for a thing, and yeah, I'm with you totally, and I love that. That's like one of my like 3 favorite podcasts. I would say in kind of funny in review is totally that. So,
Mm-hmm. 100%.
back on topic. Ori and the Blind Forest.
Yes. Ori, that game's good. I think it's really great. It doesn't really have that many issues. Like there's only like certain things like
You had some trouble
like
with the bash ability, right?
yeah, just with a joystick basically. Like I don't know why, but like pressing down on my joystick and like it doesn't like really does it like the way I want it to. Not the bash. I'm sorry, the stomp. The stomp is where that's my issue.
I was like, because I saw that tweet and I was like, I don't know, like that seems off, but stop. Yes, absolutely, totally get it, especially on Switch. That was a thing that I noticed of like this is a little less consistent than I remember it being.
Yeah, bash is great. Bash is like the best
Bash
mechanic.
is it's one of my favorite video game mechanics. It's so perfect.
Yes. Um, but yeah, like there's only like it's like it pretty much does me be able being able to use stomp like effectively like, when I want to. Like I have to like you literally go to the D-pad to do that right, and like that's fine, but like I kind of like using a joystick for playing Ori for the most part, and like sometimes like I get distracted like for the game, like it really end up like like I get distracted by how good the game looks at like I usually like run into spikes like almost all the time, like climbing up and then just run into a spike like oh wow I didn't notice that. And Ori's just kind of small
Yes.
for the game, but like other than that though, like there's no real complaints for the game. It's an expertly made video game. It's
so
very
polished,
accessible. Yeah, it's very accessible. Like you can make checkpoints anywhere, and just like it's a matter of you like how difficult you want to make this stuff. And like me being a stubborn asshole, like I'm very stubborn as far as like how I want to make stuff for be difficult for me. Like I don't want to like have like a checkpoint every point of it. So like,
But it's cool that they kind of give you that flexibility,
Yeah, I think that's great for like everybody. And like I really enjoyed the game for what it is. It's really good.
Yeah, as far as like a platformer that lets you kind of essentially set your own pace, it's like not a game that I can think of has ever done that. And it's a really unique mechanic, and it just specifically works so well for Ori for how like if you're just having trouble on one room, it's like all right, let's just make that one room easier for you, and then like kind of take it at your own risk going forward. It's totally. It's just very well designed, and I rewatched the 2018 trailer for Will o' the Wisps, and I'm just so excited for that game. You do like flips and shit. You got a sword and a bow in that game. There's shopkeepers. Like it's like a whole expanded ball game as far as like it seems like they're really leaning into the Metroid kind of aspect of it, but like maybe even more Castlevania of having. I don't know if there's like an inventory system, but like having weapons and different kind of tools at your disposal and shopkeeping and maybe even crafting. Again, I'm not positive, but it's just like more of everything, and I'm I have that pre-installed through Game Pass on my Xbox One. Like I'm raring to go.
Same.
So yeah, very excited. I'm glad you're playing it though. I wanted to say I saw that you tweeting about it, and I was really excited just for the sheer fact that you were playing it.
Yeah, like you mentioned it, Alex mentioned it, Alex Van Hinken has mentioned it, like yeah, I just always there's always something I wanted to try, and like it's one of those games where it's like especially right now, like it's like yes, this is like something I just want and need right now. So like yeah, it was definitely the right game for the right time for me.
For sure. Anything else?
Nothing really worth talking about. Like I got Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, but like that's mostly just gonna be like my nephew playing and I'm just like watching. But that's pretty much it. We haven't gotten too far, so that's pretty much how that game's gonna be for me.
That's fun. You get to relive the anime,
Yeah. Like watching it is like they did a really good job as far as like presentation. It's just like the combat. It's not like I'm not the biggest fan of.
Yeah, it doesn't seem very good.
But like for my nephew, he loves that version of the Dragon Ball combat. So like yeah, so like when he goes through it, I'll just watch him play through it. It's just 100 hours long. Like that's just a lot of quality time with me and him. So,
Hell yeah, dude.
uh,
You got
so
him.
yeah.
You did a good old rope a dope.
That's pretty much it, though. I think.
Cool. Let's take a break. When we come back, we'll maybe talk about all these video game delays that keep happening. And then we'll make some bets and get out of here. So we will be back in just a little bit. Bum 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 bum. News in gaming. I don't. It started almost
kind of
as the
news we
Avengers
got?
theme.
Oh, also,
Bum,
I got a
bum.
little sad today.
Yeah, we're in the
While I
news
was
segment, Tony. This is it.
good. I got this is news. I got sad.
Okay.
All right, I was
Do you
watching.
want to talk about it?
Yeah, I was watching this Code Carnage playthrough of Persona
Yeah.
5.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And he got to the point where he can see like the level 10 like skills for certain confidants
Oh,
because
yeah,
he's
yeah.
at like level 8 or whatever, right? And he's looking at them, and he's like looking at Takemi's because Takemi is the one who you can kind of get to level 10 the fastest.
Mm-hmm.
And he was super hyped to do all of Takemi's social links before because the story is interesting, and like you get really good bonuses. Like you get a discount on when you buy your SP charm or your SP adhesives, which are ridiculous.
Super clutch.
They literally like break the game when you buy them.
Yeah. That's
Um,
the first accessory I buy every time I play Persona 5
You know
is
what's
the
funny?
highest
When
one.
I played Persona 5 the first time, I didn't know that they existed because I just used the Persona 4 DLC accessories the entire game.
Yeah, that's fair. They're
So
also
I
broken,
made
right?
it way harder
Oh, they're okay.
because I didn't have any of that SP recovery that is
Yeah.
so crucial.
It's so clutch.
That's why I was like always complaining like, there's no fucking SP recovery.
Y'all were
items
the
in this game, bro.
psychopaths that are like, no, I got to finish in one day.
Yeah, I
So,
also do that.
I
Yeah.
split it up over multiple
I
days.
was trained that way by Persona 4.
I know. I did it in Persona 4,
They
but I did
molded
not
me.
do it in Persona 5. It's one of those things where I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm just going to take
Yeah,
my
in
time.
Persona 5, like you don't really need to do that.
No.
You know.
They give you a
You
lot
don't
of
need
time.
to go into you don't need to do the palace or go into the TV world literally day one.
Yeah.
But I was trained that way.
Hey, man, I get it.
So day one of being able to do the palace, I went into the palace and I went until I got to the goddamn treasure or some sort of forced out roadblock. Yeah, he's also. But anyway, the thing I was getting to is he was looking at that. Yeah, this is news.
I love it. No,
He was
I'm
looking.
just
Yeah,
here for
he
it.
was looking at those skills, and Takemi's level 10 skill is that she just gets a broader range of resurrection items for sale.
Yeah.
But he's already got resurrection skills at this point. He's like level 35 or whatever. So he's like, okay, chat, answer this question for me. I straight up don't care about the level 10 skill boost for this character, right? Is there any reason at all why I should care about the rest of these social links? And I was like, yes, the social link part of it.
The social.
Like the actual thing that you're doing.
Yeah.
I had to like take a step back and reevaluate. I was like, oh, this man's playing the game in a very fundamentally different way than I would play this.
That's the risk reward with watching.
Yeah, right.
See, Tony, now you know how I feel.
Yeah.
I'm joking. I'm joking. I'm joking.
What do you mean?
Wait, are you saying this about me? Yeah, that's like the risk reward for watching any other Persona playthrough. That's like one of those things. It's like it's a very intimate experience for me, weirdly enough.
It is for me as well. So, but I know eventually he's gonna do them all. But it was kind of off-putting for me for a while, and I was kind of like a bit mad about it for a while. While I was like, well, listen to the playthrough. So you'll just fucking ignore this character that you're at like the pinnacle of her story. Like he got like the quest in the metaverse to go and deal with a thing.
Yeah.
And he's not gone back since then.
Yeah.
So like right at the moment of her making her big decision and all that, he just hasn't gone back.
That's why I also appreciate about Persona 5 is that like you can kind of get a few folks to that point and then go sweep a bunch of things.
Yeah, right. Which is he plays
game.
games really strategically and he learns really quickly, which is one of the best, like the reasons why I really like. And he's also just really entertaining. Mm-hmm. But one of the reasons why I like watching his streams, because he'll pick up on mechanics that a lot of other streamers would be too distracted by their chat or whatever to actually like use at all.
Yeah.
And it's to the point of frustration for me sometimes that some streamers just don't get things that should be obvious.
Yeah. See the Giant Bomb Sea of Thieves incident.
Yeah, exactly. We've had this conversation. He's really good at not doing that thing that I hate.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I was like, wow, okay, this is a different playthrough than what mine would be.
Yeah, but like that's part of what Persona is all about is like I got to make sacrifices with my time. Of like that's the thing that I think we all talked about with Persona 5 is like I just want to spend time with everybody. Like I don't want to leave anyone in the dust here.
Yeah.
Except for maybe
He still
Haru.
hasn't picked a waifu yet, and I need to know. The only waifu he's picked is plant waifu.
Haru is actually really great though. Her story's really good. So.
But the plant in your.
I know. I was just saying to my earlier comment. Don't believe
Haru suffers from that thing
Like game
where
fatigue,
you're
man.
the last one to be introduced, and you're introduced really.
Yeah.
So like 90% of the people who are playing the game have already committed to like a bunch of other stories, and then you just kind of show.
You just show up and say, "Hey, what's up? I'm here."
Hey, what's up? My dad's kind of a fucking dickwad.
I already have a relationship. I'm sorry, Haru. I have
You're
for
like,
months
whoops.
actually.
Yeah, whoops, I'm dating everyone else already.
Yeah, whoops. Can't do this.
Anyway, sorry, you can back to news. I just wanted
News.
to talk about fucking Persona more.
No, I mean
Because
Persona
it's the
5 the
best
Royal,
game ever
man.
made.
Are you gonna play that, Tony?
Yeah.
Are you gonna steal someone's PS4 to play it?
No, I'm gonna buy another one.
You know what? I respect that.
Listen, dude. Sometimes you got to take a hard stance, and my stance is Persona 5. Lit.
You know what? That's a stance that three
Many
out of the
people can
four
get behind.
hosts of this podcast can get
Scott
behind.
can get behind that stance. I'm pretty sure. Maybe not for Scott, but Scott knows. Scott understands that in a general sense, that game pretty good. Just maybe not.
Yeah, right.
Pretty good for Scott. Yeah. I
So
mean, I don't want to speak for Scott, but
Nah, that's fair. That's good. That's fine.
a lot of news happened this week.
yeah,
A lot
Persona
of
5 is.
No, it didn't. Moving
a
on.
lot of video games got delayed. Because like video games get delayed all the time. A lot of big video games got delayed here. What I wanted to talk about was kind of like how this changes the landscape of 2020 as a year for video games. If you're the uninitiated here, Cyberpunk 2077 was delayed from April to September. Final Fantasy VII was delayed from the beginning of March to the beginning of April. Marvel's Avengers by Square Enix was delayed from May to September. And I guess Iron Man VR was delayed as well. If you're invested in the VR story of Iron Man. And it's just like, Nabeshin, you texted me earlier this week about it. Just like, I said to you, I'm just appreciative that now I'll actually be able to play like Doom when it comes out instead of having to wait like weeks to play it. Things like that.
By the way, I fired up Doom again for
It's a good video game.
2016. Yeah,
Good, right?
forgot about that. Yeah. Continue.
But it's one of those things where I think it kind of paces things out a little bit better, especially between very big, long games. Things like, now with Final Fantasy VII out of March and Cyberpunk out of April, Persona 5 The Royal at the end of March is like, it's got a nice little pocket of time for itself. Even if, obviously, Final Fantasy VII still comes out 10 days later, but it's better than how it was. It just changes how things are going to be paced out for the rest of the year. And it's weird. I don't know. We talked about it a little bit earlier this week, Nabeshin, of just being appreciative of some of that pacing. But do you think this hurts any of these games?
No.
No, right? These games will be fine.
Yeah, all of them will be fine. Like I've always said, like as far as me at least, it's like I feel like delays are important just to like it's all about the first impression, and it's always about the first impression, especially for me. It's just like how a game comes out, how it's initially released, and like how you may feel about the game then and there, because like your first time is always your first time, and like if it's tainted in a way where like the game doesn't run quite as good or is bug filled or basically kind of you can't even play it, and like like it'll and like sometimes we're tolerant for stuff like that, but I think as the years gone by, like we've become very, very much more intolerant of it, and like
Yeah, because it happens a lot more. I think
Yeah.
it's like it's become an epidemic to some extent, but it makes you appreciate polish way more.
yeah.
It's one of the, like talking about Ori, like that was a game that was like very solid right out the gate. and that's a game from a very small amount of people, and they, if it wasn't, nobody would have played it, right? So it is one of those things where if it's a standard that a lot of small games are holding themselves to and holding themselves accountable for because they have to, because if they're not worth your time, they're going to get buried. Certainly bigger games that have the clout should totally hold themselves to the same standard.
To be fair to Ori, have a definitive edition to fix some of its
To
issues.
fix some of the issues, to add stuff that they didn't have time to add.
It was mostly just to have a New Game Plus, right? More or
Yeah,
less?
New Game Plus was a big part of it, but they added 2 new abilities, and they fleshed out the backstory of Naru, who's like the kind of mama character that you meet at the beginning.
Gotcha.
So I know you might have already explored some of those areas in your playthrough. So
Yeah.
it's cool. Yeah, and like the puzzles and stuff they added feel like a very natural fit, even if they're still totally optional. You don't have to play them when you play the definitive edition. So. But it gives it more of that Metroid exploratory feel that it was a little bit more linear originally. So, that's fair. And I think a lot of indie games like Binding of Isaac Rebirth, the game's been re-released like 20 times, right? Like they keep refining and making it better, or at least adding a lot of stuff each time they re-release it.
Did y'all watch the video I sent?
I have not watched it.
I watched 30 minutes of it. Pretty good run.
Was it dope?
Yeah.
All right.
They play, I forget his name, but instead of starting with tears, you start with a melee attack.
Oh, okay.
And then you switch to a ghost form at the cost of a heart container.
Ooh.
A special heart container. Or maybe it's soul hearts, I forget. But yeah, he's a very interesting character. He starts with that one, then he moves on to Eve. He just goes through a speed run with 7 characters as fast as he possibly can.
Ooh, that's really cool.
He does die a couple of times.
It happens. Happens to the best of us.
But they have a speed running version that they're running where dying is a 40-second penalty instead of restarting.
Oh, that's cool. That's clever. Keeps it moving at the very least.
And there's some other speed ups that they implement there as well.
It sounds cool. It's more interesting than I thought. But yeah. Anyway, that's like the hot commodity, hot ticket item this week. Obviously, there's a lot of video games coming out. I just wish like anything was coming out in like February, that's just gonna be a month where I guess I'm gonna play Kingdom Hearts again. But it's a little bit weirdly spaced out at the beginning of the year now. It is just I was thinking about it. It's like, man, 2020 is now a totally different year than it was 3 weeks ago for me personally.
I do find it interesting how all at once this happened.
Yeah.
Like I don't think we had the. I don't think we really had like something like this generation.
No.
Cause that was like the thing as far as like last generation was like especially near the end, it's like
yes,
delays, on top of delays, on top of delays, on top of delays, and like this is like the first time this really happened this time around.
Yeah, because I like GTA 5 got delayed, right? It was like delayed from 2012 to 2013, I think. It's like a full year, and then in that same year we had like a Last of Us delay, and I think BioShock Infinite was delayed as well.
That one continually got delayed.
Yeah, I mean BioShock Infinite was delayed a lot. That's like if we're making comparisons, I would put that in like the Final Fantasy VII remake category of like we had this and then it was gone for years and years and then it came back and I guess it's coming out now. But yeah, it's definitely you're right that we haven't really had. We'll get the occasional delay. Nintendo games get delayed a lot, but the Nintendo's good about like. We're aiming for spring. And it's like, hey, it's gonna be August. like it turns out we were aiming for spring and we missed. And they're good about not necessarily like giving you the idea that it's gonna be coming out in a specific time frame or, heaven forbid, a specific date. They'll kind of push it. Do you think anything else will get delayed now at this point?
I think Doom is safe because they just released a trailer, so I'm assuming that's okay.
They're probably feeling pretty good about it.
Yeah, Dreams is gold.
I think Animal Crossing's fine as well.
Yeah.
Nintendo has had a just
for the sake of my best friend, I would hope they would come out that.
I just think Nintendo's had a good track record of once they say a date, they hit the date. If they don't say a date, then
Then they push it back.
all bets are off pretty much. But like everything, like Odyssey, Zelda, even Smash Brothers, which was like going back and rewatching that date unveil of like, oh yeah, they fucking just hit that date. This that like a lot of the games that they're big tentpole games, like they haven't once they set a number, they hit it. So, which is impressive, honestly. Yeah, I'm just thinking like big ticket items. It's still weird, us not knowing a lot of what's coming out in the back half of the year, but I can't think of anything else that would get delayed. Like I honestly, it bums me out, but I could see Ori getting delayed again. But I wouldn't think it'd be for very long. But yeah, I think Cyberpunk does not surprise me at all. Bums me out though. I was really looking forward to playing that. It's just like now that game's coming out in September 10th, I think, or around there. And it's like this is within spitting distance of next generation. And then like that conversation of, well, I mean, if I buy this on Xbox One, in theory, like because of what Microsoft's trying to do, it'll just work on Xbox Series X, because in theory is the same game, just on better hardware, right? Or is it not? Because we still don't know yet, because it's still very early in the year and these questions haven't been answered yet. One of those things.
It's interesting with those three games, in particular Final Fantasy, Cyberpunk, and like the Avengers, because like you can see like the three types of different delays, like, or at least I mean, we're just speculating obviously, but like this is how you really feel about it. Like Final Fantasy is like, holy shit, we really gotta get this right the first time, especially since we're doing it this weird way. So like the first impression is gonna be everything. Yes. So like we have to make sure this is
the demo leaked and it was data mined. Right? And like so now like there are people out there that know literally everything about that remake, and it's one of those things where if they wanted to change things or if they wanted to prepare things for a day one patch to be changed or things like that, like that could be part of this, and them making that action could be part of this. And also, like you said, we gotta nail this out of the park day one.
And like with Cyberpunk, that's just like an ambition thing. It's like, oh man, like it has like we're doing so much that like we just want to make sure this is actually really good when it actually comes out. Like The Witcher had problems and like and everything, so I feel like they want to make sure that game is actually good. I'm pretty sure it's still gonna have problems, obviously, but like I feel like they just want to get into a more stable state, which is like cool and refreshing. And like Avengers just feels like
Avengers feels like it's gonna get delayed again, is what it feels like.
Yeah, it feels like they don't want like a Destiny or a Division situation where it's like,
we're sending this off to die.
Yeah, like I don't know, like maybe they're even reconsidering what their model of how like they're even going to do this as far as like the loot in that game and like how to keep people coming back in, because like it's supposed to be a games to service game, but it doesn't really still feel like that way. So like I don't know, because like there's going to be some monetization with that game. It's just like, it's like how you're going to do it and like what's the right way of doing it. I think they're still trying to figure that out.
The thing that they brought it up on this week's Easy Allies podcast, which is a very good episode. Folks should go listen to it, as always. Highly recommend it. But like the thing that bums me out about Avengers and Cyberpunk now, that like it's not a huge bummer, but it is something to think about. It's like, oh, like those games are gonna be at E3 again now. Like you have an opportunity to represent that game, like show it again for the first time again. But then it will be like, okay, well now this is Cyberpunk's 33. It's like, what more of this game do I need to see? And then it's like, well, what do you show me with Avengers? Do you show me literally anything with Avengers, or is like that more a curse than a blessing? Like is that like now we have this we have to relaunch this game in a way, and that kind of the two bum me out for two different reasons. Of like I don't necessarily need to see any more Cyberpunk, and now that we'll have this big event where I have to think about it again. It's gonna make that wait harder. And Avengers is like, I don't know what you can tell me about that game to make me really want to get it. Like I made a joke on our we have a betting league coming out with Brandon in podcast form that Brandon Gann that folks will be able to listen to soon. And I said, are any of us brave enough to draft Avengers? And the turns out none of us were. So, God, what a counter pick that would be, though. But yeah. The only other news that happens, Sony still not attending E3 2020. Not a surprise at this point, I don't think. But it is like it's the last nail in the coffin in a lot of ways. And as someone who plans on going to that event for the first time this year, I'm feeling real weird about it.
You're planning on going?
Yeah. I'm not sure.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, over the years, I believe it's turned into an event that you go to more than the spectacle that it used to be.
I don't know. There's still plenty of spectacle, but it's one of those things of like, oh well, maybe I'll be able to play Cyberpunk.
Yeah, because it's like Nintendo's still at E3.
Yeah, in a big way too.
They just don't do a conference.
Yeah, they just do their direct.
Yeah.
That's all they need. Yeah, I that's the plan, Nabeshin. I'm fully intent on going. So I just, whether there's obviously a possibility that I won't be able to, but as in I'm not approved to go, but it's my intent to be there, and it's going to be a weird thing. But like, go ahead, Nabeshin.
Let me ask you this. I remember years ago, like one of your questions for the Giant Bomb panel in PAX, it was like, which should you just stick with PAX or should you just try to go for E3 once? Not regret, but like, do you feel like you should have went like around that time now? Because like obviously it's a different beast from where it is then and where it is now. So
I don't think so. Yes, but to be fair, like I don't know if I was in a good headspace, like responsibility wise, to go to it. Like last PAX East was in particular I learned a lot about like, hey, somebody said something and somebody overheard that conversation and like you have to deal with this now. And it's one of those things of like, oh, I didn't necessarily expect to have to deal with this ever at any point, but now I know how to, right? And E3 is a much bigger event where a lot more things get said and a lot more things happen. And now I feel a lot more mature for that kind of thing. Like, I think if I went there, I would have a much better understanding of what the connections that I would need to make and the people that I would need to talk to and how I would go about those conversations. Because of what I've learned in the last 2 years in particular. So yes and no, right? It's one of those double-edged swords type thing. I think I would have a very different outlook on video games if I had started going to E3 sooner. And maybe I would have more connections. Maybe I would be better off, but it's impossible to know.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I want to, we'll see. We shall see. Those are the news stories I picked this week. A couple other things came out. Possibility Horizon Zero Dawn coming to PC is exciting. Exciting for you, Tony, also, if you want to replay that game at any point. But
you should try to hit up Travis, by the way. I think he said he was trying to go to E3 as well.
We'll see. Does he need a couch to share?
I mean, he lives in LA, so
he does.
Yeah, because like I remember, like
He does.
yeah, it was last year. I was saying like I want to travel more, and like Travis said, "Yo, let's go to E3 together." Like I live in LA, so like it wouldn't be too much of a thing. So
I also know one Jacob Bryant in LA, and I have hit him up as well. And he was like, "Ooh, I get to see you twice this year now," which is exciting.
What day is E3? Is it like around that time?
It's like a week and a half later.
Okay.
Trust me, I'm already upset.
So you're just are you staying there?
No. I have to go back to work and work more and then make more money and then go to E3, so
Gotcha.
yeah, that's going to be a struggle month for real on my wallet. But yes, we should talk about the other thing happening in June though, cuz Damien's coming in. I'm really excited about it. Fun fact.
Oh, cool.
Yes. It's gonna be his first trip out there. So.
Nice.
That's it for news. That's all I pulled. We didn't get any questions this week, but if you'd like to send us some questions.
Smash, man.
Oh yeah, and the last Super Smash Bros. Character was announced. Wouldn't you fucking know it? It's another goddamn Fire Emblem character. And everyone was upset, I guess. I don't know. I was asleep, so I wasn't there for the moment. I did watch a great kind of funny reactions though. Boy howdy, very good. That's an instant classic if ever I do say so. I don't know. Byleth looks cool. Honestly, the weirdest thing about this Smash announcement is that it's like 2 weeks later. It's not like out right now. It's like, yeah, we're gonna put out the update at the end of the month. We've been working too hard. But 6 more characters coming is very exciting, and they will be spacing them out a little bit more. So through the end of 2021 is the timeline that they're establishing that for. I'm honestly just really excited to live in an era where we get 6 more Smash character trailers. You know,
It kind of not scares me to death, but like I'm like, yes, we're finally over this, and now it's like, oh, we're back in it again. So now like we're just. It's the speculation is going to get insane again. So it's like,
it's weird, you know. It's one of those things where we'll have obviously a lot better expectation once we know who that first character is, but also, you know, knowing that a Nintendo character ended up being the end of the initial Fighters Pass that was all third party otherwise. It's like, you know, we can vacillate more. Like now that we have an understanding of. You know, it doesn't. We shouldn't have like some expectation of like, oh, they're all going to be new or they're all going to be different or all going to be this now. Like this is back to the drawing board from scratch, all new ideas that they decided post launch as opposed to probably somewhere in development. This is, you know, everything is back on the table, but also like I feel like the stakes are lower. At least for me.
Which is smart, but like I was thinking, like personally, I thought what they were going to do is like let this last character be like the last third party character, then like you know the 6th character could be whatever, and like you know they have the pre-established like, oh, these will be Nintendo character because like obviously one of those 6 are going to be a Pokemon. I feel
Mike thinks so
that's
as
like
well.
Yeah, that's just the trend they're having. So like Smash is just going to keep being exciting, and now it's like another one of those things where like. Where every E3 and every Game Awards again, we'll have to like.
Yeah, we have to go through this all again.
Yeah, so like, it's exciting, but it's like, god damn it.
Yeah,
like,
it's exciting. It's the same, you know. You take the good with the bad. I as someone who like, boy howdy, they've just done this game so well. I'm just staying in the positive zone. Yeah, so
yeah,
and that's the best way to do it. Like, obviously, people are going to be bummed out. People are going to be upset. Gino may or may not make it. You know, we'll all find out together.
right.
I keep the dream alive, y'all.
Mike still wants Waluigi?
I think he gave up on that dream.
Okay.
Yeah, no. Waluigi's in the game already.
Yeah, he's an assist trophy just like he should be.
Honestly, it might be a bit too much for him.
Yeah, he should just be a spirit. Throw him to the side. So yeah, I you know, 6 more character announcement trailers is awesome. So then those are going to be hype and exciting. But also like I've never had that fighting game, right? Like Mortal Kombat 11 and Mortal Kombat X and you know those things that got like those big character unveil announcements and additions like over time. Like I've never really been invested in those games before. So that we get to do it with Smash Brothers, my favorite of those kinds of games, is really cool. So, do you have any guesses, Nabeshin? You want to throw out there?
I mean, my guess forever is going to be Sora till it's not.
Yeah, he's got a shot now. I think he does.
See, that's the thing, man. It's like, like the thing is like after what's it, Bayek? I can't say Byleth. After Byleth was announced, it's like it was kind of like a relief type of thing. But it's like, okay, he's not in here. I have to like worry about like it, you know, being the thing again. Then I got reminded, it's like, oh, the DLC characters are like on first season 2.
They're
like,
doing a whole nother one.
Yeah, so
you got to
but like
all over again.
Yeah, but if anything, like Bayek make me want to like try out Fire Emblem. I have that game.
It honestly
I
made me want to do it too. And it was
yeah.
It was one of those things, you know, just like every time Sakurai presents a character, he just does it so well. And you know he genuinely cares. He's like, yeah, I played through Fire Emblem. Like, I really liked it. And, like, he's pointing out these little things of, like, this is, like, this kind of dramatic shift in the story. And you know, it's one of those things of, like, oh, like, Sakurai is also clearly a fan of that franchise. Like, this is much like everything in Smash Brothers. This isn't bullshit. So it that helped a lot. And you know, all those little presentations of him just showing the character off are the best, the absolute best. Like, imagine, like, any other game director, like the director of the game, just sitting down and being like, hey, here's all these little intricacies that we did. And also, Toby Fox came to my house and played video games with me once. Like, you know, it's so great. They're the best things. And it's great because, like, in my opinion, Sakurai totally deserved that, like, Kojima status of, like, being this kind of quirky video game director that everybody knows now, and he has achieved that, and I'm very happy for him. So, yeah, 6 more characters, 2 more years, a lot of disappointment in the future, I'm sure, but also a lot of excitement. Real quick, if you'd like to send your questions to the show, you can email them, mailsack@irrationalpassions.com. Leave us a voicemail, 404-590-1337. Standard long-distance fees do apply to that. Or tweet them at IrrationalPod. We'll read them on the show. We'll answer them. We'll speculate. Maybe we'll make fun of you. Who knows? We have to wait and find out. Just a few other things real quick before we end the show here. If you like that Twitter account at IrrationalPod, you should follow it as well, because that's where you get all the updates on the podcast. And the things that we post on the website and all our other shows and whatnot. Maybe some new exciting announcements that are going to be announced soon. You should follow it. You can also follow me and Nabeshin at AlFighter27 and at Nabeshin186. You can check out our video stuff that we do on Twitch, twitch.tv/irrationalpassions, and youtube.com/irrationalpassions, where you can watch the video version of this. In the pre-show, we ranked cereal. And boy, did we have some different opinions on cereal. If you like this show, we would really appreciate it if you rated and reviewed us wherever you're listening to us, whether it be Spotify or Apple Podcasts or whatever. And check out everything we do on irrationalpassions.com. Got some fun little fireside chats coming out with just me and Nabeshin on Irrational Passions Presents feed. Talking about, next week we'll be talking about Games of the Decade. It's a 2-parter. It's very good. And probably the week after that is when you'll finally be able to hear Nabeshin, Brandon, and my betting league. And some new stuff that Nabeshin and I will be recording soon. So check it out. That's the end of the show. We've reached the end, which means it's time for bets. Are you boys ready to bet? Nabeshin, did you get the note that I shared with you for bets?
I probably did. Yes.
Cool.
Yes.
This week's bet in the Metacritic user reviews. We're getting into the weird stuff. For Tokyo Mirage Sessions Sharp FE Encore. How many times in the top 5 reviews, just the top 5, will I see the word anime? I'm expecting this to be a lot. It could be none. This is one of those ones where it really could go either way, and that's the best and most exciting part.
I'm gonna go with 1.
1 use of the word anime.
5.
Ooh. Scott?
I don't think it'll be that much, but maybe 0 times.
Okay, I like this. A bold bet. I'm going to say 18.
Jesus.
I'm all in on anime.
That's like 3.5 anime sayings per review, dude.
I know. I'm very excited as well. That should be, honestly, 2020 Eyes on the Prize is my catchphrase for the year, but honestly, it should just be 2020 I'm all in on anime. I've come back to that in a lot of ways that I didn't expect, Nabeshin. Last week's bet. How many Gokus and sick jumps will be in the launch trailer for Dragon Ball Z Kakarot? I said 7.5. Nabeshin said 4.5. Scott said 8.75. And Tony, you said 4.1. If anyone wants to know how you can get a kind of percentile range for Goku count, just listen to last week's podcast. Nabeshin, you were in charge of finding the answer for this,
Yes.
and you determined it was 4.5.
Yep.
Now, can you tell us how many were Goku and how many were sick jumps?
Yes. There were no sick jumps because my view of sick jumps is you have to land. Has to be jumping
Has to
up
be a
and then
complete jump.
land.
Yeah, I respect that.
So if
Yeah.
you jump into the air and stay in the air, it's just a sick.
It's just a sick fly. I'm sorry that I am the way I am. So there were no sick jumps. So it was all Goku?
The first thing you saw was Super Saiyan Goku, and then you see Base Goku. Then you see, I'm trying to go this from memory.
Sure.
You see Gohan, who I count as half Goku.
Mhm.
You know, half Goku, half Chi Chi, half Goku. And then you see Gohan Super Saiyan 2, Gohan, who is another form, which we established as like different Goku forms.
So
So
another 0.5
different
Goku.
yes. And then there was Super Saiyan 3 Goku. And that was it. So that was 4.5.
All right.
I think.
That means you are first winner.
Oh, Vegito. That's where the 0.5.
Oh, there you go. Vegito is half Goku. I'm glad Vegito was in the trailer. I haven't watched this trailer yet. I should have, as a responsible person, but I didn't. Because that was what I was hoping, because it would kind of give the breadth of the whole story. But that's cool. Was it a good trailer?
Yeah.
Nabeshin, that makes you our first winner this year. For folks who have never listened to the podcast before, the bet segment, heavily inspired by, which I say completely inspired by, the Easy Allies. And we just like to have fun with it. There's no real, we don't have too many stakes with this. We have other things that we have stakes with now. But if you win, it does mean that you get the final word on anything you want to reiterate or disagree with. Maybe we should add something to that, though. I don't necessarily have anything off the top of my head here, but maybe
I disagree.
Okay,
It's fine.
okay, fair enough. But Nabeshin, you've won. We're at the end of the show. Do you have a final word that you want to throw out there?
Not really. Like I was gonna say something about delays, but like I don't really have much to say. I guess I will point to Jason Schreier's article about like even though games get delayed, there's still a bunch of crunch involved. So it's like an educational piece that you always think like with delays that like it gives them more time to breathe, but they still have a schedule to do, so that just means crunch lasts longer. So I don't know. That's interesting.
Yeah, I like that. I want to reiterate, this year we're all on our own teams by ourselves. So Nabeshin, you have one, and the rest of us have no points. Thank you everybody so much for tuning in, for listening. If anybody in the live chat still hanging out, Mike Burgess, Nicole's in there, appreciate you. Thank you so much for listening. If you've just stumbled upon this, if this was your first episode, I love you. Just remember that. Anytime you're just down, just remember that. Thank you to Danny Wiesner for opening music of Two-Player Co-op, and our closing music of The World Is Saved. Don't forget to check out the Irrational Passions editorial Game of the Year that is going to be posting this coming week. And check out irrationalpassions.com and be nice to each other. I've been your host. Oh, wait. Thank you, Nabeshin. Thank you, Scott. Thank you, Tony, also, for joining me. I love you, boys. Big hugs. Just a big old wet hug. You know what I mean? Just a big.
How did they get wet?
I don't know, man.
Hold on a second. Hold on. I'm putting my foot down here.
We had
No
a
wet.
T-shirt contest, and then we decided to hug afterwards. You know how it goes. Thank you, everyone, so much. I've been Alex O'Neill, your host. Play your games, stay rational. We will talk to you all next week.
Titles.
Titles.
We got Antonio L. Tigre. I gotta have my pops. Alex O's Neil.
Boo! I didn't see that before. Boo! Don't you take my name and fucking slander it with this O's bullshit.
The Sunning of Buttholes. Tony Got Sad. And A Sick Fly.
All right, Tony, what do you want? What do you think should be the title?
Alex O's.
I fucking knew you would fucking say that. Scott, what would you like to be the title?
Alex O's.
Oh my god. Nabeshin, is there like a genuine one here, or is this?
It's what when I make my jokes, it's always like the thing I have to like, stand behind.
All right, I can respect that. Honey Nut Alexos.
Hell yeah, you ever get that honey nut?
Give me that honey nut. Okay. Do we want to do Alex O's Neils or?
Crunch Alex's.
It would be Cinnamon Alex O'Neill's.
No, it's
Sorry,
gotta be
Alex
Alex O's.
O'Neill.
It gotta be the O's.
I didn't even think of that when we were
No.
talking about it the whole time. And it's funny because anytime I've been like
I got one.
the multiple Alexes, I'm referred to as Alex O. And now it's come full circle. Yeah, Scott?
Fruity Neelios.
No, gross. I don't know. I don't like making cereal puns out of my name. This is weird. All right, you know what? I will let you all decide how you would like my name to be serialized. I will just say the episode number, and then anyone who wants to chime in after that, you can figure it out. Nabeshin, you made the original joke, so you can do it if you like. You're listening to Irrational Passions Podcast, episode 554.
454.
Shit, dude. I was like,
Wow.
what the fuck is Tony about to say?
That's a lot more episodes than I thought we were at.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. You're listening to Irrational Passions Podcast, episode 454.
Alex O'Neill's.
Trash tier, it's a no cereal.
It's gross. It sounds gross when it comes out of people's mouth. Thanks everybody for hanging out. Have a good night, y'all.